Good evening and thanks for stopping by. Welcome to Starbase Weekly, the RGV aerial deep dive into images he captured from the ground and air in Boca Chica, Texas. Our dedicated team will guide you through with the latest updates and theories at Starbase, Texas. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for future streams.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Starbase Weekly. My name is Mauricio, and this is episode 38. And I'll pass this along to Indian, sir.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 38. We're excited to have you, and we're super excited to have Jax. Jaxie?
Hey everybody, happy to be here again. As some of you may know, I'm a member of the Ring Watchers team. So, yeah, let's do this.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Zach with a K. Good to be with all of you today, and happy Saturday to everybody who is joining us. I'm seeing all of you in the chat. Welcome. Lots of highs in there. I can't really say hello to everybody individually, but hello to all of you. And yeah, I'm really excited. We have a great show for you guys today. We obviously have another flyover. We just so happened to get it one day before the events from last week. Or sorry, yesterday. Or was it 2 days ago, actually? The fire from the Ship 24 static fire. So unfortunately, we don't have any aerials of that yet. And hold on, we got some feedback in the background. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so the aerials were taken a few hours before the grass fire. And so, yeah, I was a few hours late on that. But we'll have some new aerials for you all on Wednesday. So that's in several days from now. So
So
we're
slight
not too far away.
correction, the ground photos were taken after, right? You were saying
Correct.
Yeah.
The aerials were taken on Thursday and the grounds were taken yesterday.
So you got just before the spin prime, which was amazing, and then you got it right after the fire.
Right.
On the ground.
On the ground, sorry, yes, on the ground.
Yeah, with these spin primes, you have to clarify because you never know.
Yeah, you know, we really thought that Mauricio was going to actually be in the air for a static fire attempt this time, which would have been amazing. I'm not really sure what is different now. Like, what you weren't able to really do these before, right? Where they used to have the unlimited TFRs during static fire, fire events, right?
It's always been. They never had. How should I put it? I think there was always a TFR in place. If anything, they probably just raised it a little bit. Maybe people can confirm on that, but I'm not really sure on that. But I mean, we're at 10,000 feet or so when the testing was going on, and like you said, we're trying to stick around to see what would happen. But due to limited cell service up there, I couldn't really get the updates from the ground. And when I did, it just seemed like I was going to be stuck up in the air for a while, and I didn't want to, kind of be out there, and if nothing happened, I would have been stuck with the bill, because the more time you're in the air, the more expensive the flight gets. So the only way that I would stick around for that was if there was a sign of a siren. Then if I get a notification that there was a siren, then there's 2 minus 10 minutes on that. So, but we didn't get any of that. We're up there, and as you said, I think you're the one that told me, or someone told me, that as I took off, they did the spin prime. So
Yeah, I I was watching you loiter over the build site and the launch site for quite a while. This, as you guys can see, I think this is your first like circle around the site, right?
this is the shot that I got as we're approaching Starbase. So the first shot, one of the first few shots, is this particular one, and then after this, we turned the plane towards the west to capture what's at Massey's, or I don't know what you're calling it now, McGregor 2.
We haven't decided yet. We're still in between Macy's and Massey's, and also we don't know if SpaceX has actually changed the name of this spot. But I guess this would be that second picture that you were talking about.
Right.
And as you guys can see, it looks like the two tanks that we spoke about last week that were previously at the Sanchez site are over there. So that's nice to see from that very first shot that you take as you get out there. This is going to be pretty interesting to watch this develop. Yeah, I'm oh, actually, so now that I think about it, so just so I make sure that everybody else who hasn't been here previously understands like what is going on here. Basically, these two tanks were previously at the Sanchez site, and they've now been moved over to the Massey's site, which was previously a gun range, but SpaceX actually owns this entire property. So after the an actual renovation to this site, which was adding in or extending the gun range, like shortly after that, all of this was removed, or all of the new ranges were removed, and they relocated to the new site. And now it seems like SpaceX has fully taken over this entire property. So now they're able to expand onto both sides, and it looks like we are definitely going to get some sort of testing facility, most likely for Raptor static fire testing, and possibly even a maintenance facility. So a place where they can send Raptors back to, a mile and a half, or sorry, like 3 miles down the road instead of, it's probably further than that. How far is this, Mauricio?
How far away is it from the build site or the launch site?
The build site.
I'm not sure. I haven't checked recently, but
Like 5 miles?
I think it's a little bit more than that.
Okay. Well, it's definitely nowhere near as far as McGregor's. So this will be really awesome for SpaceX once this is up and running. Just being able to send your engines down the street instead of halfway across the state of Texas, which is, larger than a lot of countries. So yeah, this is going to be really awesome once they finally get this up and running. Do you guys think we're only going to be seeing, I know we kind of addressed this last week, but I don't know if there's been any developments on whether or not there will be, only vertical testing here or, horizontal stand testing?
Yeah, I've definitely wondered about that as well, because we know they use a bunch of different types of stands at the McGregor facility. They have their tripods, their horizontal stands, their vertical stands. I'm sure I wonder if part of the reason they have the different stands would be to put the engines through different conditions, through in a horizontal profile or in a vertical profile. So if it is a Raptor testing maintenance facility, maybe we'll see a couple of each, or one of each, a vertical and a horizontal, or something to that effect.
Yeah, I've kind of been wondering if vertical is the only one that really, I'm actually interested in knowing more about why they do the horizontal testing, because, they launch in the vertical configuration. I guess the Starship is somewhat horizontal while it's in orbit, or sorry, is horizontal after stage separation pretty much. But most of the engines are firing from a vertical position. So I think it kind of makes more sense that they would have more vertical stands than horizontal. So, yeah, this will be pretty interesting to see how this develops. If we had multiple vertical stands, that would be pretty awesome. Because I mean, the highway 4. Oh, I think I can see it from this image. Almost. No, not quite. So it's just off screen in this image. Mauricio, where is the new boundary or no trespassing sign? Is there? Because you used to be able to drive through here, right?
Just before the bridge, or the land mass bridge that's right there. But just to clarify, going back to that other question, how far away is it from the build site? Well, I pulled it up here. It's 7.6 kilometers from the build site, and then from the launch site, it's 10.78 kilometers.
Oh, what's up with these kilometers?
Well, it's the only it's the
Okay,
only
s-
true system of measurement.
Are you doing this because Jax is here?
Well, we got okay. So let's do it both ways. We got 4.6 miles from Massey's to the build site, and I lost my tracking here. And then the other one was probably like, what is it? Okay, now how do you? What's 11 kilometers in miles? Because I lost my pager.
It's fine. Don't worry.
They get the idea.
So, yeah, I mean, this is really, really close to the build site. So, like I said, you can go from pretty much taking a Raptor off of the ship and put it onto that transport truck and send it straight here, and it could potentially be back in just a few days instead of however long it takes. I feel like it's usually weeks. I mean, there's no way to really know. Actually, Jax, do you track? Do you guys track like when certain engines show up and leave?
It's been talked about. Nothing too thorough. I know that after the explosion with Booster 7, all of the center, or at least the vast majority of center engines, were shipped off to McGregor, and they later returned. But I can only imagine that it would have gone a lot quicker. They would have had those engines back so much faster if they just had this testing site at Massey's.
And one thing that I feel like is going to be interesting to see here is whether or not they actually have, a water deluge system. Does the vertical launch stand, or sorry, the vertical test stand at McGregor has a water deluge system, right?
I think so, but
Yeah.
don't quote me.
No, they do.
Yeah, and so it'll be. I mean, with all of this tree growth around here, I feel like it would be pretty necessary to have that. So I think that in that case, we would probably expect to see a water tower here sometime soon. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I mean, you don't want a repeat of what happened at the launch site last week, and really quickly, and we'll probably touch on this again later as well. But I'm sure a lot of people are wondering. Let me just swap over to this view. So this is basically the overlooking of the build site and launch site at the same time. And as you guys can see, there's like a ton of water in here, and in between the build site and launch site, there's like this entire well, I don't know if this is part of the protected zone. I feel like the wetlands is part of protected zone. I'm not sure if this is as well, but I imagine it might be. So as you can see, ship 24 over here, and this little sliver of basically weeds, essentially, and all the way over here. So these two burned pretty much, I think, all the way down to the build site.
Yeah, I think most of that got burnt.
Yeah, we do have a time lapse for you all. So luckily, we'll be able to show that really quick. I actually posted this on Twitter the other day, but it's still nice to actually show you guys here if you haven't seen it yet. So this is the actual static fire of ship 24. And the interesting thing about this is I didn't notice any debris falling off of it. Like when we scroll back through it, like I don't see any. I've seen a lot of people mention possible debris flying out of the actual cloud or the exhaust cloud, but I don't really see anything flying.
Well,
Go ahead.
sorry. Well, I was going to say in the ground photos Mauricio got of the suborbital stand, there were some pieces of stuff on the ground. It looked like maybe some insulation that broke off of something, but there were some pieces of things lying around.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you've walked through there and seen that, then that probably is the case. There's probably stuff flying all over. And as you guys can see here, there is the fire on the left side and the one closer to the ship. So I'm just going to pause it there for 1 second and go back to that aerial view. So that's kind of what I was explaining from the aerial view. is that you have two different areas that caught fire, and that's why you see it. They actually meet up, I believe. So yeah, this is the two separate fires, and they're basically like working their way down here essentially. And unfortunately, going back to that other view, unfortunately, because Ship 24 was in the process of detanking and being able to be considered safed, they weren't really able to get like fire crews in there to do anything about this until several hours after it actually started, which was like well into the night before they actually got out there. But yeah, this was a pretty intense fire for sure.
Yeah, in the dark, once it started getting dark, it started looking, even though it wasn't anything like of major concern, it started looking scary. That thing looked aggressive.
Yeah. And, it's good to see the aerial perspective of where the fire was, because initially when I saw the launch mount in the background, I was thinking, well, dumping a whole bunch of liquid oxygen out of the vent on the launch mount probably isn't a good thing to do while you're dealing with this fire. But luckily, that is actually pretty far away from the from where the fire was, so it's not like that was actually fueling it even further. But yeah, this took well into the night to actually put out this fire, and they ended up having to like go in front of the fire and set backfires. So I believe like once the fire started like reaching over here, they came in this area and they started burning all of this out. Which is interesting to me, because by doing that, it still worked its way all the way here. Like, I don't know, it almost, in a way, seemed like it accelerated it. Like you didn't really have the ability to stop it from coming all the way over here. I guess once we see the aerials next week, we'll be able to understand better like what they actually did to stop it. But it seemed to me like this was almost going to burn either way, but they set a backfire up here to try and cut it off. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see that the post report, I guess we can call it, when we actually get Mauricio up there next week to see what the burn scar looks like. But I don't think this is the first time that's happened. I believe the first time was with Starhopper, right?
Yeah. And I think it was the same patch that burned too.
Yeah.
It was the exact same patch.
Do we have the images from the burn scar after Starhopper?
We actually, I'm not sure if we have the ones from after Starhopper on hand. We have some satellite photos after the fire from Ship 24 though, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're in here, I'll send them over to you.
Yeah, we need those. Well, sorry to put you out of business, Mauricio, but I guess we're going to be able to at least see this earlier so everybody can get an idea of the burn scar. Let's see. I'm going to open both these images up. So I think the first one is I haven't seen these before. Okay, hold on. This might be helpful. So this is actually from Harry Stranger. Let me see if I can full screen this really quick. I guess not. We can zoom in on it though. So this is before the fire and another image taken later in the, wow, okay.
It all got completely burnt.
Well, with that being said, well, number one, that's kind of unfortunate. Hold on, is it over here as well? What is happening over here? That's just a cloud.
That's a cloud.
Here, and then we have one from Starhopper in there now as well.
One thing I noticed when I was out there on the south side of the launch site was that it looked more patchy than anything. There was burnt areas, and then there was areas that were untouched. So I think the satellite view kind of shows it that it's all completely burned. But from what I saw, just my personal experience, I've seen that it's not completely burned
So
like it's made out to be.
this is interesting. So from Starhopper right here, it looks like it didn't actually touch this part. It is all of this what's black?
Well, it looks like it burned more with Starhopper because this is shipped. You can see the date in the upper left for each photo.
Okay, so it's basically comparing Starhopper's burn damage to Ship 24's.
Yeah,
So Starhopper was worse?
Starhopper was worse.
Mind you,
Progress.
Falcon 9s have also burned grass, and the new Rocket Lab, I think it's the Electron, also. So it's not uncommon for grass to burn during a static fire.
Oh,
I know a lot of
especially
people are
such,
concerned.
especially when it's so dry like this stuff.
Exactly. Even though
Yeah,
it just rained the day before, it was still super duper dry.
agreed. Yeah, it was quite the static fire. I don't really have a image or video for that ready right now, but I could grab one if you guys want to actually see it in a slow version because I did speed up the previous one. I feel like it's probably necessary to show it for the purpose of what we're talking about here. So let me go ahead and bring that up for you guys.
I have a couple of questions. One for
Yeah.
Mauricio. Mauricio, have you done flyovers when they did the Hoppy static fire?
No,
Ship
back then I wasn't really doing flyovers when Hopper was. I did a yeah. There was a period of time where I couldn't do flyovers because of the drone ban, and
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't realized there was planes available. But
You
a
hadn't
side
been
note,
on a plane yet, right? At that point?
no, not at that point. But side note, I think Lewis was already doing some flights there. Lewis, meaning Lab Padre. He had
You're
already done
saying
a
that
several.
Padre has aerial flights from Hopper's era.
Yes, but I don't know how many.
Fair enough.
So we first of all, as Mauricio was saying, huge shout out to Lab. Thank you for letting us show this material, especially after that static fire, being able to talk about what it looks like from different views and actually show that damage from above. But let's go ahead and look at it from one view right here. I'm gonna have to turn the volume down for myself. This is actually really impressive. I noticed the drone over here the whole time. They haven't released that footage yet, huh?
Not that we've seen.
Yeah, that was a pretty massive cloud.
Well, it was such a long duration for that static fire, much longer than we've seen for ship static fires, let alone a 6-engine static fire. So it's quite impressive.
Yeah, we have Sapphire Cam as well. Just to really get a scale. This is the only view where you can really truly get a scale of how large the cloud was. And number one, yeah, so this was 6-engine static fire for roughly 8 seconds. And as you can see, the cloud. Oh my god! Wow, it's taller than the OLM.
It's yeah, the entire. It
Or
was
sorry, the OLIT.
significantly taller than the tower.
Wow. Seeing that from the outside view on like South Padre Island or something, I wouldn't blame them if they thought that it was a actual explosion or something. Especially given what happened last time with Booster 7. But either way, that was pretty impressive. I do wonder, with a more significant water deluge system, if we would be seeing this big of a cloud. I mean, obviously you would have still a steam cloud, right? But I just don't know if it would be quite this large. And let's go ahead and check. Oh, sorry. We already saw the neural view. Let's check that Raptor Roost view really quick.
Your favorite.
Of course, this one was a little blurry that day. I should have zoomed it out, but that is extremely impressive. I can't even like think of something to compare it to. Really, honestly, the whole thing just disappears. I remember, when SN15 landed, and then we had to wait for the smoke to clear. Or actually, wait, it was. I'm thinking of SN5 and SN6. When those two landed, we really had to wait for the dust to clear to actually be able to see them. Okay,
that was true for 10 as well.
Here's something that I need help with from the audience. What is going on in the water here? Is that fish jumping out of the water?
Are those
Reflection.
birds?
They're not
Yeah.
birds.
They are.
Because up above is the birds, and then all of a
That's
sudden,
a
all of this,
reflection.
they disappear. They all disappear, all at once. So it seems like it's like fish.
I think they
No,
all
it's.
died.
I don't think it's that. It
Look,
could
they're like
be.
splashing in the water. You can see the birds above flying.
I don't think that's water, though, splashing in the water. I think that's an optical illusion.
Oh, it's
Can you-
definitely water because you can see
Can-
the.
Can you go back all the way
Yeah.
to the beginning?
So there, you go from there being nothing in out here. There's no. You can see the only birds that are out here are flying right now.
But then it gets freaky for them, so they all take flight.
Mm,
You see how low they are? Because they're freaking out.
well,
Isn't
then
it
all of a
stuff
sudden
falling
the
in the
water.
water?
It could be. It could be
But-
debris falling into the water. That's
So
the other
you're-
thing I was thinking.
Yeah, so you're picking up dirt and tiny rocks, etc., and so that's probably stuff falling in the water. No.
Wow.
Tiles.
How are they not taking out the birds with the debris?
Well, it'd be a lucky strike. But that is pretty impressive if that is debris, because it's still falling. Well, that cloud did go pretty high. You never know how high that it could carry the debris, but
Well, you'd be amazed the stuff I found out at the south side of the launch site, obviously outside the property lines of SpaceX property, and there was a lot of stuff out there. There was insulation. There was some rubber pieces. It looked like there were parts of the Starship way out there. I was at least over 100 yards away from Starship, or maybe about 10, 15 feet away from the property line, outside the property line.
so. But my only thing about this is that was like a solid 30 seconds of debris falling, if that's what it was.
Well, it went
So-
up pretty high though. If you look at you look at the cloud. That some of that stuff has to come back down. You know.
Right.
And I stand corrected. Spoilsport was able to find the drone view.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me pull that up for us then. All right. Wait. Oh man, I thought it was a video.
Yeah, I wanted a video as well. They did for the 2-engine static fire, but not for
that
this
was a
one.
tease. I thought that was a video as well. Spoilsport.
Yeah, so this is pretty interesting, actually. It's nice to. I'm glad they provided this view. I'm sorry about the zoom. It's kind of not the best on the web browser, but you can see not really so much. Actually, there's a little bit of haze off the side of it, like from the like almost dust coming off it as the like wave is like transferring through the vehicle. But down here, you can really see the actual like waves of the like impulse traveling through the vehicle. I actually haven't seen any footage of any of the tiles actually falling off, though. It was almost like they came off after the RVACs turned on.
Yeah, I feel like once the RVACs come on and the entire vehicle gets shocked. But yeah, it's interesting to see all of the tiles that fell off were definitely localized in the aft area, the lower third of the vehicle, let's say. Which does strongly suggest that while there may have been poorly placed tiles, a lot of it was just due to the vibrations of the static fire.
Right.
So the fact that
Yeah.
Starship looks like an old wrinkly man right now is because of the shockwave, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. And I believe this is actually before the RVACs kicked in, but it's really hard to tell like when they actually turned on. The funny thing about this is I always work from the office on Thursdays, and I went to the office and I knew they were going to do a static fire because they always do static fires on Thursdays for some reason. And I left the office right as the static fire happened, and like right as I got home was when Rover One Cam was zooming in, and Too Legit to Quit 3D. If you guys are following him on Twitter, he's helped me out. He helps me out with a lot of renders. But we were talking like right as the static fire happened, and as the camera zoomed in and counted all the tiles, and just like posted the picture with the count on it, and not really expecting to get a reply on that one, but that was pretty interesting. And I don't think that this was as bad as a lot of, like, I for one was expecting it to be a lot worse. I don't know about you guys. I mean, they've done the 3-engine static fires, but 6 is definitely a lot different because number one, it's not as optimized as far as your sea level engines are more optimized for the atmospheric pressure. And so there's like perfect mock diamonds coming out of the bottom of it, but your RVACs are not. They're basically, I believe they actually have little steel bands going around the outside of them in order to stop them from basically destroying themselves at sea level, I think. So, I think the RVACs have the most effect on the actual ship because there's like a wave actually traveling on the inside of the engine bell because there's like flow separation inside the engine bell because it's not at the right air pressure, I guess, or lack thereof. It's supposed to be at basically zero air pressure in vacuum when those things turn on. But being down here at 1 atmosphere is completely different than what they're actually designed for. So I'm pretty sure that's going to have an effect on pretty much everything else, like while you're using that. But could be wrong. I'm not a rocket scientist. Kind of a guess there.
You just play one at Starbase.
Well, we do have somebody found this for us. Ryan found this for us. We have footage of Starhopper from back in the day, courtesy of Lab Padre. And I'm going to fast forward this a little bit. And yes, whoever asked that, who asked that? Lab Padre was doing flyovers. This looks like I'm gonna have to ask him what kind of camera he was using. It makes it look like it was like 40 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like really old and historic.
Did he put an effect on it?
Like a 9mm?
Yeah, like I wonder what he did.
8mm, sorry.
I mean, whoa. Okay, that's a different camera.
No, it's just a handheld camera, and it's with the rolling shutter. That's why you get that particular effect when you zoom in.
Wow, look at Stargate right there. The build site's looking different these days.
Wait, hold on. Is the fire damage supposed to be in this video?
I think so. We were checking it out. We'll see. Maybe not.
You
can zoom if you like.
I thought it was supposed to be in here.
And then I have some questions from our
No, this isn't it.
regular chat crowd whenever you have a chance before we move
Yeah, go ahead.
So James Wilson asks, and this is kind of funny, any air filters on Starship or boosters that may now need to be changed out?
Air filters.
Yeah, he's being funny.
I got you. Yeah, that was an incredible amount of dust. And, one of the things that I noticed was, and I think this is really the first time I noticed it, was just really how much the berm affected the flow coming out of ship 24. Like you could just see it shooting straight up and almost, well, not straight up into the air, but you could definitely almost calculate the angle of the berm when you were looking at the exhaust like traveling. So that was pretty interesting, which it makes it also interesting to think about what's going to happen at the launch site. You know, with the huge berm that they have over there, it'll be pretty interesting to see what that looks like as it shoots over it. Also kind of makes me wonder if they need one everywhere. Think about this. All right, this is never going to happen. This is just me randomly spitballing. And don't quote this. Like I said, it's never going to happen. So, let me get to a different angle. One second. I'll just stick with this one. So, if you're able to actually enclose this entire area as a ramp like this, and then you can flood it, then you really don't need like a retention pond. Obviously, like I said, that's not going to happen because there's no way to like enclose all of this. But that would be an interesting method, is to just like flood the whole bottom of this. Or I guess you wouldn't even need walls this tall. Like if you could just build this up a little bit higher around the edge and then flood all of this. And I don't know, maybe you wouldn't need an entire retention pond. I don't really know how that would work. But either way, seeing Ship 24's static fire kind of made me interested in what is going to happen with this. And I think, well, I hope that they're also giving consideration for that because, well, it's what, like 6 times more engines?
Well,
Yeah.
Booster 7's done a 2-engine static fire now.
Right. But once it moves up to 33 and also having all of the ones around the edge, that's definitely going to change things. I mean, you're going to have a much larger volume of flow coming out. So that's one thing that I feel like a lot of people don't like realize when they're looking at it is the actual like mass volume that is they're seeing in front of them. Like you just see like a bright light coming from the bottom of the engine, but that's like, you know, hundreds of tons dumping out of the bottom of the engine within seconds. So it's really hard to get like an appreciation of that. And then when you multiply it by 33, just the mass volume of gas that's coming out of the bottom of here at that point will be pretty insane. I'm excited for it though. Anyways, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, this is a bit of a different start from our normal episode. We wanted to make sure that we cover the current events, and I think we may have some more questions related to this as well. So before Indy gets to that, if you guys have not hit the like button so far yet today, go ahead and do us a favor and do that. We really appreciate you. And Indy, let's answer some questions.
You got it. Rocket Prophet asks, does the static fire actually damage the structure of the starship?
I doubt it. What do you think, Jax?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Do you think the static fire actually damages the structure of the starship?
In the ideally, it wouldn't. You do have to remember this is still an experimental design, so like Ship 24 might not be designed to be as strong or reusable as they eventually will be. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are some things that need fixing after a static fire. Not necessarily the tiles, but just in general. But that's a really hard thing to say because in any case, you don't want it to be damaged before, after, or during a static fire.
Yeah. And a starship is meant to fly, so a static fire means we're bolting it down, we're holding it down, so damage can occur, but the goal is for it not to occur. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're doing a static fire in these stands, the vibrations and forces that this vehicle is going to be going through from the engines are going to be greater than in flight because you're bolted down basically. and everything's bouncing right back up and hitting the vehicle. That won't be happening, because even whilst they're lifting off from the pad, the ship's going to be however many meters in the air, 80 meters in the air, including the OLM. So I would imagine that during a static fire, we're going to see more damage than in flight to the heat shield specifically, and possibly whatever else they find comes from these static fires.
You guys want to know something?
Yes,
I
please.
feel like I just wasted my time showing that SpaceX image because Mauricio's is like far better. But here we are. I'm like sitting here like, wait, we have ground images. What am I doing? Trying to zoom in on this right now. So Mauricio went out yesterday and got us some ground images bright and early in the morning, so we can actually zoom in a little bit on ship 24 and look at the damage. And it looks like a mix of different injuries. The stuff so close to the ground doesn't really surprise me. Like, that could just be actual debris, right?
You should see the underside of the flaps, the tiles on them. They're completely obliterated.
Really?
You can see it on the
Yeah.
left a little bit.
On the bottom of the aft flaps, it's bad.
Let me find that, but I will. I think this might be the frontal view right here. No, it's not. We're good. Is this view going to show it?
Yeah, he has a couple of photos of it, but they're completely smashed out, and I would assume it's from possibly debris. It's yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, it could be worse, right? Like,
Yeah, it could be worse, but at the same time, it could always be better.
I mean, here's the thing. I feel like this damage wouldn't, like, these tiles on the bottom probably wouldn't have fallen off if they were higher up in the air, right?
Oh.
Like,
for at least some of them, I won't lie, and I'll say this now. Some of the tiles on ship 24 were rough. Some of them, it's a good thing that they fell off. But I would say that a lot of them, I would say that a lot of them are from the forces it endures during a static fire.
can you identify ones that probably should have fallen off? We got some up here.
Oh, there are a load of cracked ones on it now too. On the main hull.
Oh, where do we have the cracks?
I
Here,
can't remember.
let me get to a better, like, the front belly view.
This is very flattering lighting for ship 24, so it
lovely,
looks pristine.
It
Yeah,
looks lovely.
It's
like
not
this one.
yeah, it's not as revealing though.
Yeah,
I
this
like
is
the
the one
whole
you want.
golden black aspect to it. It's like Mr. I think it's
Yeah, I know last night we were looking at some in the show and tell, we were looking at some cracked tiles on the main body, but I don't know. I'd imagine they'll get them all fixed up nice before they fly.
Oh, I have a question, because I don't know the answer to this. Why are the tiles right here
I was going to ask the same
colored
question.
differently?
So
And above too.
SpaceX, on that spot right there, that's where the aft dome is welded to the tank, and they put external stringers over them, so they have to glue tiles onto that spot.
But Jaxie,
And
doesn't the dome in other sections touch the side of Starship as well?
it does, yeah. This is where it's welded to the side, and they put external stringers to strengthen it all up, and glue tiles on top. SpaceX, since Ship 20, has been terrible at putting glue on their tiles, so this is all glue residue on top of the tiles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That
Interesting.
white powdery stuff, right? That they were doing blue for a while.
They have a mix of different things. So yeah, some of this is residue. Some of it might be the dust of fallen tiles. Some of it might be.
Oops.
But you can see on even on the section welds, that's where they glue tiles as well, and you can see that same white discoloration.
Interesting. These actually look like If you guys have ever seen T-minus Lives heat shield tiles, they look almost exactly like this.
Dude,
I don't
hers
know if we
are
have a link.
amazing.
Maybe we have a link for that we can throw into the chat.
I'll grab it
If you
right
guys
now.
want a heat shield tile that looks just like these ones in the middle, they should probably put handprints on them. I bet you they used to have handprints on them as they were pressing them down. But if you guys want to get yourself a heat shield tile, we'll throw that in the chat. And also, we should probably throw Mauricio's link to his merch store in the chat as well. If you guys haven't gotten one of those 6-engine Raptor t-shirt. Actually, wait, they're 9-engine, aren't they?
Yeah, updated the design to 9.
Let me pull that up. Do we have
I was
a link
gonna-
for that?
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you. I just sent you a photo, and also I posted a poll to see what you all think. How many tiles were damaged in this particular test? And I actually did a side-by-side image with last week's photo of S24 and today's and yesterday's image. You can pull that up whenever you have a chance to.
Where did you send that?
Sent that through VC comments.
Okie-dokie.
Oh my bad.
There we go. So I have a before and after right here. Right there. So, what do we got? The nose looks good. Right? It almost looks better.
Yeah, like I said, it's nice lighting that he got the photo in. Yeah,
So there's our first one.
our first victim.
Pretty high up there, huh?
Yeah,
What is up with down here? Is this just I'm seeing it on that side?
I don't think that might be residue, or I don't think they ever really finished tiling Ship 24 yet.
Wow. So that is the only one that's actually high up on the body. All the rest of this down here arguably could be from debris, right?
It's
Almost all of it?
It's possible, especially the ones, I think especially the ones on that right
Oops.
flap, because those are just kind of smashed and shattered out.
Yeah. Yeah, the flaps really take a beating when they do those tests. I wonder if they folded the flaps in during the static fire test, if there would be less damage. Yeah. The only way around this that I could think of, especially because, like, as you can see, and let me go back to that other ground image view. Sorry. So when you look at it from this angle, you can kind of see that, like, oh well, that's being slow. It almost looks like it curled off of the actual test stand, right? So I wonder if putting, a canopy like they have over the orbital launch mount would stop that from happening. Because it's got to be the RVACs that are causing that because they're so close to the edge. And actually, are they right here and right here?
There's one, the
and then one in the
RVAC,
front.
there's one RVAC directly windward, center of the windward side, and then the other two are on the either side of the leeward. Yeah.
Okay, so there's only one back here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. I still blame the RVACs. Unstable flow.
I have some questions regarding those RVACs that people are asking.
Yeah.
So JK Video asks, did they use less than the full throttle on RVAX C? On RVAX as not to damage the RVAC bells?
I feel like less flow would maybe cause more damage.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Or cavitation.
Well, it's like flow separation. So you're trying to force the gas out at a high enough rate so that it doesn't, like, I don't know how I could draw this right now, but like if you have an engine bell, you don't want the gas curling in off the engine bell. So basically, the faster you push it out, the further away from the closer it gets to the edge of the engine bell, and that's basically what you want. So if you like reduce the throttle, then you're like, it's probably going to curl off of the engine bell earlier. So I have a feeling that maybe with the RVACs probably need to throttle up higher than the center engines, but that's just a complete guess. Don't quote me.
Fair enough.
What do you think, Jax?
Yeah, that's not a question I'm sure about. I'll go with you on that one. I'll agree with you on that one.
So
You see that?
55. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, there's like a light patch of tiles there. Do you see that? It's like right there. It's like they're brighter than the rest.
Right here?
Yeah.
I feel like that might just be like the sunlight reflecting off them.
They look like they're
Yeah, you're
bubbled
probably
out
right.
too.
I never looked for the cracked ones, actually. I didn't know if you knew where they were at.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, just off of like my initial view right here, I feel like they don't look too
No,
bad.
Everything held up really well for the test that they put it through.
Yeah, I mean, in Elon's reply tweet, he seemed pretty happy with his response. I mean, 30 tiles out of, what is it, 16,000?
So
Yeah, that range.
I pulled up Google Maps here and I tried to measure how far these pieces flew from the heat tiles. And I saw a piece that made it all the way to 140 meters or 459 feet from S24.
Do you have an image of that? Can maybe show it.
I'll see if I can find it.
Okay. No worries. But maybe from an aerial view, we might be able to kind of guesstimate that a little bit. So let's just go to the launch site view from the back. I don't think this. Oh, this might show it. So let me get an even further view.
Sorry, what was that last bit?
That was worse. Sorry.
No, that's okay. While you're still looking, can I read off some donations? We've got quite a few.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thank you. So James Wilson started off our little train here of donations with $5, and he says, let's kick off the hard drive fund. Then Jim Cavett came in with $5 and says, I'm in. Joey Bag of Donuts joined us as an RGV Early Access member. He's a new member. Welcome, Joey Bag of Donuts. And then Zach is a celebrity, and he's one of us. Someone says this. I don't know who because their name isn't there. Oh, it's Foom. Sorry, Foom. Foom said this and donated $5. Foom also wants to ask you what it's like to be a celebrity, Zach. So maybe you can answer that a little later. 55 Chevy Guy Steve donated $10, and he says, let's have a flyover cost donation train, please. Rocket Profit came in with another $10 and says, I'll match that. Jim Cavett came in with $5, and he says, I can do 5 more for the train. Joffrey came in with 10 euros. I'm pretty sure that's euros.
King Joffrey?
Sure. Yes. And then Rocket came in with $9.99. Thank you guys all for your donations. You guys rock. We appreciate you more than anything. Thank you. Hard drives for everybody.
Sorry if you guys didn't catch the King Joffrey joke, but I forgot to switch this view over. Apologies. So you said 100 meters. And by the way, just to answer that one question, number one, I feel like a response from anybody who is like famous doesn't make you famous, but yeah, I try not to think about things that way. Yeah, I try not to think about things that way. I don't really like go out looking for that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely appreciate the response though. And yeah, thank all of you for the donations as well. But I think Mauricio said that it was about 100 meters or 400. Oh, wait. So he said 120 meters, right? I feel like that puts it out in this range right here, which isn't too bad.
Actually, it's 140 meters, more or less.
Oh.
So it was...
I don't have a measuring tool, unfortunately, but I feel like that puts it right around here?
Right outside the property line. So it would be about anywhere between 15 to 30 feet from the property line where I saw that. Again, I want to,
On this side?
yes, and I do want to say that there was a lot of debris out there and I was picking up stuff that I didn't have a bag or anything. So I was just putting stuff, bottles that were there. And that was one of the things that I saw out there. So again, I want to clarify that I didn't know what it was, or until I asked a couple of people what it
Hold on, we don't have the picture.
I'm still looking for it.
I think people are confused. He's like explaining it before we have the picture, but we will have that here in a second, hopefully.
Check your DMs. Maybe you can use.
Oh yes, of course, I will use that one. All right, so swapping over one more time.
And again, I didn't know what I was looking at or sure what it was. And I know some people were like, "Oh, you should have turned that in, or you should have done this." I mean, the thing is, so every time I find something that's suspicious, should I just show up to security at SpaceX and give them a rock or something that looks, hey, here, they're going to be filled with stuff. So I'm not going to do that every single time I find something. Again,
At the end of the day, you're just picking up trash.
Yeah, and it was outside of SpaceX property. That's also important to know. Along with a lot of stuff that was out there as well. I even saw some insulation, some other stuff that was out there as well.
And there's nothing definitive that says this is anything that came from Starship or anything. We don't know anything about its origin or nothing.
I would say it looks like it came off Starship, but here's the thing: if SpaceX wants it back, they're going to ask for it back now. But it is we're still able to show it. More than willing to. I'm sure Mauricio is more than willing to give it back if they ask for it. But it is a tiny piece of heat shield tile, as you guys can see. It looks like, I don't know if the bottom of them are black or if they're white on the bottom. Does anybody know?
It's like that.
These kind of tiles, you'll find on aero covers and the flaps and that kind of area. They're nearly entirely white, but only the exterior has a small layer of black on them.
Right. Is that just from the heat treatment, like actually basically burning the outside of it, essentially?
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know very much about these tiles and how they're baked.
Oh, it's too bad we don't have the statue fellow that spoke to Mauricio. He knows all about those tiles. Remember him?
He knows about methods of supposedly making certain heat tiles or a new method of doing it. But again, for people joining us, this is a piece that I found out there about 140 meters from S24 outside of SpaceX property. And again, it's not confirmed if it's a heat tile, but that's what we are speculating on right now. Jack said that this is possibly, it could be a piece that's on the underside of the aft flap. Correct, Jax?
That's one of many possibilities. Yeah, it's a cool find.
We already have a poll going in the chat. So instead of the poll, if you guys think this is a heat shield tile, do go ahead and hit the like button if you think this is a heat shield tile. And if you already liked it and you don't think this is a heat shield tile, remove your like from the stream and let us know.
Step away from the keyboard. Do not listen to him. I have to read something off to you before you get too far. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You know how you said you're not a celebrity and you're very humble and things like that. It's so funny to me because as people get to know you, one of the people in the chat says, and this is from this guy, he says, bro, Elon replies, multiple updates, video mentions, national news mentions. Yeah, you're famous.
Well, it doesn't feel like it. Still got a normal job.
Still hanging out with us.
Still got a normal job. So I feel like famous people don't have normal jobs, day jobs. But yeah, appreciate it though. Thank you guys. But yeah, do we have any more questions from?
We do. So 55 Chevy Guy Steve asks, could the RVAC engine bell flex enough at startup to hit the booster hole that curves around it?
The bell is fixed in place by multiple points, so there shouldn't be any motion with it.
Nice. Todd Burnell asks, do you think the berms made it worse? The debris shoots up higher and further out than it would have it just gone straight out on ground level? Oh my goodness, sorry. He says, I
Say that
think,
one more time.
yeah. Do the two of you think that the berms made the debris fly stuff worse? He says the debris shoots up higher and further out because of the berms, more so than they would if they were just going across at ground level. He
Well,
says, think of throwing a ball level versus at a 45-degree angle.
well, they only have the one berm over here, right? So I don't think Mauricio. I don't think anything was found on the highway, as far as I know. I'm sure there's got to be stuff over there, but yeah, I don't think the berm made a difference on. I mean, since there isn't one, it wouldn't make a difference on this side in that regard, and probably send it further if that's what he was saying. Yeah, but I also wonder with the way that they're sweeping this. Like they're basically just sweeping all this stuff off, and it's not like it's immaculate essentially, which is kind of what you have underneath most launch pads because they're never really doing construction under most launch pads. But yeah, the other thing to point out about that is, I actually kind of expected this stuff to burn too. But if you guys saw the video from Rover 1 cam, the water was actually pouring all over the edge of this. So it kind of prevented all of this stuff from burning. And yeah, I mean, I wonder. I wish there was like more consideration available for like whether or not they're able to do an actual full water deluge system plus retention pond and all that stuff. Like it seems to me like pretty obvious that they need it, and that's just based off of seeing the same things you guys are seeing. Obviously, they're probably getting different info, but I don't know. I mean, if the ground fire is not that bad to them, then maybe they don't need to do anything. But if that is a problem, and I'm sure just based on seeing some of the stuff online as far as like, how the media portrays it, all of that stuff would be avoidable, I feel like, if they were able to do the stuff that they had planned. So yeah, it's really unfortunate that they're not able to do that. Anyways, so if we don't have any more questions, I guess we will hop over to the Sanchez site. That was a rather long intro to the show.
Over an hour.
Yeah, so we haven't really had too many updates at the Sanchez site lately. We have noticed that a lot of the stuff has been getting cleared out over here. Specifically, the biggest news that we mentioned earlier was those two tanks that used to be sitting right here. So now everybody has to park out in the sun instead of underneath those tanks. But so in my opinion, I think all of this stuff that is over here, especially the stuff down here, I think these guys are actually fabricating things for that facility possibly. The other option is that this stuff down here is being constructed for the launch mount. So let me see if I can get us a little better of an image on that. I don't think we can see it from this view that well. Kind of. So they're actually welding some pipes down here, and specifically I noticed this curved one right here, which I think is similar to the ones that they have been installing on the launch mount lately. So I guess we may as well go over there and take a look at that. We're kind of all over the place today. What do you guys think? Should we take a look at the upgrades to the launch mount really quick, or do we save that till 2:00? I'll let them tell us in the chat while I continue to move through the Sanchez site. But Yeah, I mean, we have also noticed that the first transport stand that was under construction down here, still no progress on it. We have the Starship one. It looks like they've been putting a little more work on this. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Seems like you don't care about Starships.
Oh, I know the Booster 7's transport stand here has been seeing a lot of work done on it recently.
Yeah, I actually have a good shot of that, which I will go ahead and show us. Let's go ahead and switch over. So we have booster. Wait, you said 4s?
The 7's.
Okay. So we have booster 7's transport stand right here, which actually got the walking platform last week, I believe.
Yeah, they started. At least they started last week.
Do they have more to do?
I don't think they had the actual floor pieces on it yet.
Oh, yeah, you can see that a little better now here. So if you look at the other transport stand, you can see the top of the clamp still, but on this one, it looks basically. Oh, wow, that's really cool from this view. The one for Booster 5 is all rusted, so it doesn't look quite as cool as this. But yeah, you can see from this view that this platform allows them to essentially not have to use or not as many of them, the man lifts essentially. So by not having to use those, I mean, and being able to like walk around the edge, you can get out and walk and get on top of the clamps to unsecure them, since all of those have to be manually unsecured. So I feel like this will actually probably speed up the process of taking a booster or putting a booster on the launch mount and also taking it back off as it relates to securing it to the transport stand. But I really like the way that one is looking right now. I don't think we've seen any more of these stabilizer pins yet, which
I think they only have these two.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah, I think you might be right about that. And yeah, I've been looking for them pretty much every single week, and I haven't been able to find any. I don't know if they're just like not in a rush for it, but I kind of would think that they would have a few of them laying around. Maybe they're just inside of one of the buildings, but we still have yet to see anything happen with this over here. The flame diverters that possibly Ship 24 could have made use of, if they are flame diverters. I still don't know about that one. I mean, the shape of them is so weird. I don't think it really makes sense. Let me get another view of them. Ooh. This is not the best view for actually trying to see the shape of them. Maybe this might be a little better. Kind of. You're right on top of them. It's kind of hard to see. But yeah, this part right here is actually elevated off the ground by a few feet, like underneath, and then it slopes back down, and then it rests on that at the end. So it's like a ramp with two different slopes, essentially. Still waiting to see what that's actually going to be used for. But looking in the chat, I wanted to check and see, and it looks like a good amount of you would like to see the launch mount and discuss that really quick. So again, that was in relation to these pipes over here, which they've been welding for a while. And before we leave, what I was going to say is that there's a ton of like pipe fittings and like, well, yeah, I guess that's what they are, all pipe fittings in here, which is kind of a weird place for them. And we've seen these guys fabricating stuff pretty much nonstop over the last few months, actually. So I haven't really seen where most of it is gone. This is the first time I've seen something that actually has moved to the launch site, I guess. But I think that all the stuff that they've been fabricating over here, it may actually be for the Raptor maintenance and test facility at the Massey's site. So basically pre-fabricating all of that stuff, so when they're actually ready to start construction on that it goes really quickly. They just bring in all the pre-assembled parts and weld them together. So yeah, like this. Oh wow, are these the ones that go on the launch mount?
I'm not sure. Actually, I have 3 or 4 of them up now.
All right, let's swap us over to the launch mount because people are going to wonder what we're talking about here. While I look for that.
While you look for that, can I give a shout out to 2 donators? Actually, 3. First one is James L. He donated $20, and then Eric Nelson donated $5, and then has a question, or it makes a statement saying it seems that a propulsive reentry might be an easier solution versus the weight and challenges of using TPS. So propulsive reentry is easier than the weight and challenges that come with the TPS tiles. And thank you for your donation. And then we also have Jim Cabot, who was able to donate 1 aerial photography membership to the lucky Hone. Hone win one. Well done.
Well, in response to that comment, I guess the thing to consider is that no matter what, no matter how you enter the atmosphere, you're going to have heat buildup. It just depends on how much of it. So if you come in faster, then you have more heat for a shorter period of time. If you come in at a steeper angle, then you have higher amount of heat for less time. Sorry, if you come in at a steep angle, you have high heat for a short time. If you come in at a more shallow angle, then you have less heat for a much longer time. So it's really about designing around those 2 parameters, essentially. But with that being said, the launch table, I was looking for a good view of what I was trying to talk about, and I'll just have to maybe possibly settle. Actually, no, I'm going to go from the front. There we go. So on the front of the launch mount, you guys can see this pipe that comes up the leg of it, and then there's this valve right here and another valve right there. And this is basically, oh wow, I thought that was welded together. This is basically the water, I don't want to call it deluge. It's more like a fire suppression system, which runs underneath the launch mount. Yeah, the nozzles are right here, so it comes down and it runs underneath there. These are the ones that we've kind of showed you guys in the past. They have the little pigtail outlets on them, and those are basically right next to the outer 20 RVAC engines, essentially. So they would basically, if you were to spray them with the booster on there, they would be like drenching the outer 20 engines. And then a good portion of it would also be spraying down. But right now, they look to be adding, they've made a branch off of that water pipe, and it goes right over here and into a huge flex hose down there, and then drops down here and is connected to a nozzle that sprays upward, apparently. But we also don't know if this is the end of this. I feel like there might be another attachment in between the 2 of these here. But we're yet to actually see that. It might be something they do at the end. But yeah, it definitely appears to be water related. For sure. Let me see if I can get one more better view of this. I feel like I'm on the wrong side of the launch mount here. So I don't think they've installed it on this side yet. And from this view, I think this is the front of it. No, actually, this is a close-up view. So yeah, you can see Mauricio actually got pictures before and after they were hanging this pipe, or the second pipe. So there's one going around that they hung shortly after this, it looks like. But looking again from the side view, you guys can see the angle that this thing makes, which is pretty interesting. I do wonder if this is its final angle, but again, we don't know if there will be something connected to this nozzle or not, nor do we know what this nozzle actually looks like. So it would be interesting to see like what it actually looks like. You could probably tell like what the spray pattern looks like if you could actually see it, but unfortunately we're not able to. So the first time they use it will probably be the first time we actually get to see it. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. The pipe underneath here that connects to the front of the nozzle goes underneath the launch mount and then connects to something else, which we aren't 100% sure what that is yet, but there's some speculation on it. But yeah, this is going to be pretty interesting to see what they end up doing here. Obviously, just having more water is probably better in general, but I don't know. I kind of expected it to spray down towards in between the engines, you know what I mean? So that you're actually or straight down in between the legs like a waterfall.
Yeah.
So like water falling between the legs kind of makes more sense. It makes the most sense to me because that actually captures everything on the way out, essentially.
With all of these upwards firing water pipes, it almost makes me wonder if they're purely for post liftoff, putting out the heat or cooling down the OLM, because that thing is going to get it's going to be roasted and it's going to have that plume hitting it for. There's footage of no, it's a much lower thrust to weight ratio, but of the pad cams when Saturn V lifted off. And it's terrifying. Like it looks like the pad is on fire. Like the steel is on fire. It's horrifying to see, and it's possible that all of these systems are just a really beefed up, cool it all down, water it down, that type of thing.
I just don't know what it'd actually be spraying. It would just be spraying almost the bottom skirt down here.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
It's a really sharp angle.
Yeah, and beyond that, this flex hose here, I don't know. I guess I was under the impression that flex hoses aren't meant for that kind of heat. So that'll be interesting. But as you guys can see here, they are using basically a rope. This rope was here. I feel like initially they brought it inside of the table somehow. Like that's what I thought. I saw them all carrying a bunch of bundles of rope one day, and I guess they ended up putting it through the floor to secure this in order to lift it up. And you can kind of see that they've gotten straps on the other side and chains for that one. And yeah, what were we going to say?
This is state-of-the-art aerospace equipment here. These are high-quality ropes and chains.
Well, they are temporary. I think that, when I first saw them, well, obviously when they were hanging it up, I just initially assumed that, well, we're probably not going to get static fires for a while until these are actually fully secured. Because, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't do a static fire without these being fully secure. But I'm not really in charge of anything. So these pipes, it appears maybe partially secured. So yeah, this one is secured right here. I don't see the actual large one. I don't see any bands around that. Yeah, there we go. A bunch of chains right there. So even more. Yeah, this whole thing is basically being held permanently right here and temporarily everywhere else. So yeah, in my opinion, I just don't think that we'll see a static fire attempt until this is fully secured. But I would love to be wrong. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to be wrong because I feel like it would result in some damage. So hopefully they just don't do that. But I'm sure that we have some questions on this topic. So, Indy, do you want to throw them out? Maybe we don't. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and continue on with the aerials. Back to the Sanchez site. So where did we leave off? I thought these may be the same flex hoses that they're hanging around the edge, but I don't know. I don't know if they're long enough.
I think apparently they had some at the launch site as well, I think, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, we will. Once we get to the launch site again, we will check and see if we can find any more of those, just to see if they're larger or not. But yeah, to me, I just feel like they're doing a lot of preparation work for here, for another facility that is being constructed. But we will have to wait and see on that one. And let's see, do we have anything else interesting down here? This area is still looking the same as always. Looks like they kind of gave up on it for a little bit.
That tank has been sitting there for, well, I can't even guess how long.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at least the driveway around here looks pretty nice to some degree, even though it gets kind of dusty at times. But yeah, they've done a lot of work to at least just allow them to get through here without having to worry about water all over the place, which is usually an issue during the rainy season, which is actually coming up, I think. But other than that, I don't think there's. Oops, that's not the view I wanted. I don't think there's anything else happening over here at Sanchez site. So we will move on to Jax's favorite place, which is. Oh no, not the Star Factory. Sorry.
Yeah. They've been making progress here over the past weeks. In some areas they've been slowing down, but in other areas they've been moving ahead fairly nicely. I guess I don't know if we want to start in the high bay.
Sure.
Mauricio has a nice ground photo of the Ship 25's nose cone, payload bay, and forward dome all stacked together in there, which were recently welded together and were taken off. One thing that has been noticed by many people was that Ship 25 is taking forever. It by no means is it going quickly. However, it does seem that they've been reprioritizing things that weren't necessarily priority with Ship 24, and most notably are the tiles. You'll notice between the nose cone and payload bay, that's completely tiled now, and between the payload bay and forward dome, that's also completely tiled now. Which Ship 24, it had that done at the pad.
Right.
So that's definitely explaining why we're seeing such a slow pace with Ship 25.
So essentially what you're telling me is you thought they weren't doing anything, but turns out they are?
Yes, and they're actually, I'm happy with what they're doing. This is going to be a good looking ship when it rolls out.
And it'll be the last of the tiled ships for a while, right?
Oh.
Ouch.
Yeah. I guess so. That's supposedly what we're seeing suggests, so.
I would say Ship 25 is t-shirt worthy. Because starships are going to be naked for a while after Ship 25, which is going to be really weird. I just don't get. I mean, I would love to hear the official reasoning for it, because I feel like it would just. I know it's got to bother them to see a naked starship travel down the road. I mean, it just feels like it's a SN16 all over again.
Yeah, and I don't know, if they really need to not put that hardware in order to speed up the production of ships, how often do they think they're going to be launching right away? They're not going to be launching every few weeks. It's just not a thing.
That is the question, though. I mean, what if they plan on launching more than what they have? Okay, well, let me take that back. So, we've kind of mentioned this before, that they have 5 launch attempts in a year, but we also don't know if that's a calendar year or a consecutive year. I don't know if that's the right word for it. But, if they have 5 launches left in this year and then it resets on January 1st, then that would make sense to do things as quickly as possible. On that regard, I wonder how many Raptor engines they have laying around right now. And that will get us out of Ship 25's armpit. And let's get back to the aerial view as well, too. But, yeah, I mean, it would be exciting to see them actually do it that quickly. If they really tried to get all of those launches done before the end of the year, then it's going to be a busy October, November, and December. Because I don't think we're going to see 7 and 24 fly before this month is over, or else they probably would have announced it by now, I think. What do you think? How soon before the launch do you think they'll actually announce it?
What, that they might have expendable vehicles?
No, like it's just announcing the first orbital flight.
Oh, ooh. That's a tough one because with the suborbital ships, they never did something like that. But for the orbital test flight, I kind of wonder if it's going to be something more akin to Falcon Heavy's test flight, where it was a lot more publicized. I'd imagine it'll be once the testing campaign is over, maybe a week in advance. But that's I don't know. Everything's so fluid with this program.
That's for sure. I'm sure most of you can't wait anymore. It's been a long year of waiting. There was well, I'm not going to say how long it was since the day Elon told us there was going to be the first static fire. I'll save that for later today. On that note, be on the lookout for another video to drop later today. It won't be the long one; it'll be a shorter one. So there will be one later this week as well. But yeah, it's kind of a something I've been planning for the last month, and related to the first alleged static fire that we were supposed to see about a year ago. But sorry, back on the ship 24 or 5. Sorry, it looks like it's ready to be stacked, right? Like I don't know what they're waiting. Does it need to be put on a different transport stand first?
They'll need to put the tank section on the left onto the turntable, but they're definitely getting ready. This morning, I think they put scaffolding on the tank section, so they're preparing to stack it. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens within the next weekish or so, but who knows?
Interesting. Yeah, I'm kind of excited for that. I think it'll be nice having both 25 and Booster 8 come out of their respective homes. And again, 25 is like 2 months behind Booster 8 right now. I'm really curious to know like what they're doing with 8 right now. It seems that you can see the chines on the side of it, and we actually have a great ground view of this. I feel like this is the wrong one. This is Booster 9. So let me skip over Booster 9. We'll come back to her. Booster 8.
Yeah, so 8, it's definitely having a lot of things closed up on it, especially towards the base. They have at least 3 chines partially installed.
Yeah, I can't. Well, this is hard to see right here. So there's one right here. There's one right there on that side. That's installed. Oh, this one's fully installed right here?
Yeah, the 2 small ones, they're missing parts at the bottom.
Okay.
And then the COPV covering one is just missing a part in the middle. I don't know why, but
Well, that's interesting.
one of the interesting things I only noticed this morning for Booster 8 is if you go up to the common dome on it, the autogenous pressurization line on the right has been disconnected.
Wait, what?
You can see
This
that
one?
Yeah, if you scroll up a little bit.
Is there a better? Hold on.
I think that's our only shot of it.
Sure.
If you
wait, let me try this one.
Sure.
Okay, he was right. So, right here.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
above it.
Yeah, those used to be coupled together with a pipe, and they took that off this week. Not sure what that's about, but something to keep an eye on.
Interesting. And there's multiple autogenous lines for methane, right? Isn't there one in here?
That's the wires. There's one on each side of the tank, so
okay,
just kind of directly 180 degrees from that.
interesting.
But yeah, it's coming along nicely. Hopefully, it makes its debut soon.
Unfortunately, I guess we would know if they installed Raptors on it. We would see them move them in there, but part of me is almost expecting it to roll out with Raptors, even though we've never seen that happen before. Wait, Have we seen that have they ever done that on any ship or booster? Or not booster, but any ship?
Have ever done what? Sorry.
Roll it out with engines already installed? Never.
With like I think some of the earlier ships didn't have engines when they rolled out, but then you had Booster 4 and Ship 20 rolled out with their engines mounted. That was the first time I think we really saw all engines mounted for a rollout. And I think SN9 might have had 2 engines when it rolled out.
Yeah, for sure. Wait, SN9 had 2 when it rolled out?
I think so. Elon, there was a photo of him from, I can't remember his name, Trevor Malman, I think his name is. It was a photo of Elon standing under SN9 in the high bay, and it had 2 Raptors in it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought that it rolled out without engines, but yeah, I think it's only a matter of time until we start actually seeing ships roll out with engines, especially if they're of the same generation. So, 24 and 25. Sorry, 25. I would expect it on, but not 26 or 27. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Honestly, I'm really surprised there hasn't been more motion on Booster 9. Especially with the rate that they want to theoretically launch these.
They've been doing some stacking on it. Lox Tank, I think, is about 12 rings tall now. And that section on the left is preparing to go inside as of yesterday. So making progress, but I don't expect to see Booster 9 roll out anytime soon.
Do we have any... I've been wanting to see if they've added anything on the inside of... Whoa, can't see nothing at all from that view. But from the outside view, let me get to this run right here. We can still see that all of those aero covers are still out here. Again, obviously, since they haven't installed engines yet, I guess we shouldn't really expect those to move in.
And you have one of the things they just recently delivered over in the upper right, an HPU aero cover was brought in for Booster 8.
I'm surprised more of those aren't here already.
Yeah, they're pretty late in all honesty, and they only have one so far to our knowledge. But we saw it get delivered, so I think they're manufactured off-site.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. I would expect that like once the Star Factory gets completed, that things like this may potentially move to this facility.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have everything in-house, and then you're just like reducing the amount of transport back and forth, and you're just bringing raw materials here. But then you also need to store more raw materials, which is probably the issue in this case. But yeah, once the Star Factory is like fully complete, we'll probably be able to guess a little bit more on whether or not they'll actually do that. But yeah, we still have these platforms that are under construction out here, and luckily for us, we had Mauricio get a really cool ground image that actually shows them installed.
Yeah, very nice photos of them.
Forgot which one it is. I think it's this one. Yeah. So, before we get started, is this Grover?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Last week, somebody told me that this jib on Grover had gotten taken off. And so then I told all of you, and turns out that was wrong. So, it looks like Grover was in fact using this jib to most likely lift walkway sections. So let me swap to this view. Actually, this is a good one. So this is the upper platform, but you can still see the upper platform in here, and then the lower platform down here. You can see the walkway which is attached to it, and there's no bumpers on it. But I imagine they probably could install them on those if they wanted to. But yeah, this is gonna be really cool. We have a really cool render of this coming, or it's already done actually, but I'm not able to show it today, but be on the lookout for that. Gives you like a really cool view of what it looks like inside of here when there's several or one or more boosters in there. But yeah, this is really cool actually getting this ground image of it because we have not seen that yet.
Yeah, it's a fantastic photo of them. I love those platforms. They're going to help out a lot for working in these bays.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's actually going to also make the images that Elon sends out a lot cooler because he'll be taking them from different perspectives. So I can't wait to actually see the first images that he sends out from the top of one of these platforms, like looking up at the like grid fins or something of a booster in the opposite corner. So yeah, I mean, right now we have 2 sets of these installed. I thought there was actually 3 sets installed, or another one down low, but apparently not. You can't see any of them down this low, so it looks like they're only at those 2 levels. I don't know if I have a better view from the front. Okay, so I can't remember. Did we agree that? Okay, sorry. Whoa, is that a welding robot?
It's a hook.
You mean just like a jib crane?
I don't know, but there's a hook on the end of that.
Okay, that's interesting. So I thought there was a walkway right here, but I guess that's not it. So I'm glad it's not that low because it wouldn't really make sense. And I also thought this was one, but it's really tough to see them from that front view, unless it was what we were looking at. And you can't see them at all. Oh wait, is this the platform right here?
No, it should be. It'll be halfway up that panel piece.
Up here?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means they have the corners installed, but not the... Okay, yeah, we actually didn't see the walkway on this one as well, right? So I guess we shouldn't expect to see it up there. I don't know why I didn't use this image that had the full view. Slacking today.
You can see the catwalk on the left there for the common dome level.
Wait. Right
there.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then you would have your common dome or your methane tank port, your access hole is like right here, so basically be able to just hop right in there. Yeah, again, that's going to be really cool. I actually hope they probably won't show us the inside of it, but still, just being able to see what that looks like from that view would be really cool. But let's return over to the ring yard. And Andy, did we have any more questions that we should touch on really quick?
Sure, we have a few. They are behind everything. TJ Everett asks, and these are a little bit older. They're not really pertaining to where we're at right now. Do you want them now, or you want to wait a little bit longer? Because they're all not pertaining to what you're talking about right now.
Well, if they're things that we've already covered, then we may as well go over them now because we probably won't go back to them. So yeah, we might as well.
Okay. So Ayush asks, how many tests should we expect for a full stack?
Oh boy. What do you think, Jax?
Well, I would imagine they'll do some sort of cryo test just because they are verifying a lot of the new things in the tower. Wet dress, I'd expect that they'll go through the whole countdown up to T0 or in that vicinity. I also wonder if they will static fire it. Just do the basically whole launch procedure, and end with a static fire. It'd be kind of cool.
I think it'd be very cool. So I got another question for you. Rocketman asks, and this is along the lines of the same berm, wouldn't the berm just allow debris from Super Heavy to get launched into the GSE tanks?
Yeah. You know, I've said that before. Let's get a different view. I mean, this isn't even the best view. Let's see it from the ground, because then you can really kind of get an idea of the way the berm slopes up towards the tanks. So I'm going to find that, but while I'm looking for it, you can see obviously from, okay, there we go. Quick. Getting faster every episode. So you guys can see the way this ramps up here, and it's really hard to tell from this angle, but obviously the exhaust is going to curl over just a little bit. It's not just going to go straight up. But yeah, I mean, it might lick the top of the tank.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's you really can't tell unless you see it like, directly from the side whether or not it goes directly over the tanks or not. But I imagine that it probably clears the top of them. I'm completely ignoring the elephant in the room right here because we're going to talk about it later. But yeah, it basically clears over the top of that. So the one tank that I've always been worried about, and I've said it before, is these two right here, and these loudspeakers. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Lab Padres Rover 2 Cam, then you've probably heard these loudspeakers. But in my opinion, the clock is ticking on both of them because when they get hit by the exhaust wave from that 33 engine static fire and or launch, I'm pretty sure these speakers are done for. I bet they probably have to get up there and like dust them out, like with like air dusters. You know what I mean? The ones you use on your keyboard.
Yeah, I picture that's somebody's job.
Get up there. Like, I'm going to look out for that now. Just see if I can see somebody getting up there to clean it. Man, this is my favorite flyover, and I've said this before the show. This is my favorite flyover of all time, just because of what's happening right now. But we're going to come back to this because there is a lot that we can talk about here. But yeah, let's go ahead and go back to the ring yard. Jax, did you have anything else of interest that was going on in the ring yard this week?
Well, it appears that we have found out how they get new load spreaders. It appears there's some sort of summoning circle going on there. And I assume that between those 6 counterweight-looking things, they have summoned a new load spreader. So, all jokes aside, it's been a fairly... there has been some stuff going on around the site. Inside of the high bay, as we said, they've been working on tiling Ship 25, preparing for stacking. Outside in the ring yard, a couple of days ago, they brought Ship 26's common dome out, installed some stuff onto it, and I believe it went back into Tent 3. But yeah, they're making good progress on building these vehicles. And over in the dome yard especially, we've had some progress with things showing up. One of the things that I've been wondering recently is, will Booster 8 roll out with its 4 grid fins? And
are these aren't Booster 8s, right? These are the old ones.
Those are what we call garbage.
Garbage. Yeah. So if you roll your R's, it's garbage. I didn't do that well. I gotta practice. Sorry.
That's recorded though, so that's I'm gonna save
snap.
that one.
Yeah, sorry. But we could go ahead and take a look. Well, we've seen Booster 8. Jesus, there's so many of them. Booster 8's grid fins are sitting outside over here, and that is not the good view in order to check them out. I think we have one looking directly down on them.
This is the first time we've ever actually seen all 4 together. We'd only ever seen 3 before, so
what is going on? I cannot find a good. Is this a good view of it? Here we go. Okay. Can you explain to me where the third and fourth ones are? Are they underneath this?
They're over by Tent 2.
Oh.
They came out of... I think they came out of Ground Fab this week.
Okay, here they are. 1.
And 2 is just obscured by low bay, I think.
Why are they all over the place?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I'm dreading the day that we see I don't know what we would see first, like a tiny grid fin,
Yeah, a tiny
or
little grid fin.
or we would probably see like the aft dome or the forward skirt or whatever you want to call it, the inner stage for the booster. I feel like that might be one of the first things that we see if that happens.
That would be
But
terrifying. That'd just be sad.
yeah, the day I think I've said this before, the day that they switch to 3 grid fins, I'm gonna skip that episode. So
But yeah,
I will not be here.
we have a couple of domes outside. The smooth dome at the far bottom, the dull looking one, that's ship 28's forward dome. Then we have ship 29's aft dome to the right. That thing is what we call garbage, just to the left of. Yeah, that's
garbage.
That's garbage. Yeah, that's the ship thrust dome for 29, I believe. Yeah, it's looking pretty much the same. Booster 11's thrust dome.
Wait, do 29 and 11 go together?
I think it might be 29 and 12. Assuming that the combinations are still consistent, like counting up 25.
I was going to say, if
26.9, who knows?
If these two the partners are hanging out at embryo stage, I would expect them to have a pretty strong bond. But I guess they're not meant to be together. But we have whatever this one is. Hold on, a common dome for 29.
Oh, 2 numbers off. 27.
Okay, cool. So common dome for 27. It looks like it has the. No, these are for flipping it, right? These aren't the lead-ins for actually stacking.
Yeah, those are the flipping stiffener thing.
Right, and so this is before they flip it.
Yeah,
correct. Okay, cool. I'm learning. Other than that, what else do we got out here, Jax?
That's pretty much the big things that we have to talk about. The booster thrust dome has in the ground photos. It's next to the sleeving stand now, just beside it.
Let's definitely show that.
So I'd expect that to be. We'll see that sleeved soon. Honestly, actually, they have a crane up there right now. It might have already been sleeved.
Are you sitting here watching cams while you're on stream with us, Jax?
I am. I have Sentinel Cam open on my left screen.
I don't even have the ability to watch those while I'm in the middle of these, so I would love that, but I would get too distracted because you guys know me. Here we go. I love that view. Oh, this one's even better.
Yeah, it's a cool looking dome. It's
So this is the flipping jig right here, right?
Oh yeah, that means they flipped it.
Wait, what?
Well, it's not on that ring anymore, so that means they would have flipped it and taken that off.
Oh, so you're saying that by the time he did ground shots that they had already flipped it?
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me, at least.
Nice. So what were you going to say about these two?
The booster thrust dome here should be sleeved very soon, if it hasn't already. I'll have to take a look back at Sentinel Cam, see if the sleeve came out this morning. But yeah, we're seeing good progress on at least aft sections of vehicles. Everything else seems to be really slow, but can never have enough aft sections.
Yeah, these are definitely the most important and most time-consuming parts. It's crazy just to see, knowing what this looks like without engines. When in testing mode, like with all of the other parts hanging down, it's interesting to see it in this phase. But yeah, this is I could care less about the Starship right now. I really just love the booster. I love everything about how complex it is, even though it may be arguably too complex. Yeah, it's pretty impressive to see this in this state. And we kind of say this every week, but it really never gets old, at least for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm sorry, did we have any more questions, Indy? I didn't hear if we missed any.
Yeah, no, there are more. Benjamin Klein asks, after modifying the OLT for spin-up, all engines at the launch... After modifying the OLT for spin-up all engines at the launch, do we expect to see smaller aero covers because under them is the helium for the spin-ups and they don't need so much of the OLT? I hope that
You
makes
might have
sense.
to say that one more time.
Yeah, so I think the person is asking, Benjamin's asking, now that we're doing the spin-ups, we've modified the OLT for spin-ups and things like that for the engines. Do we expect to see smaller aero covers on Starship? I'm assuming.
So I think
Because
he's asking if the chines are going to get smaller if they
chines.
remove COPVs because the BQD will be ignite or starting up the inner 13.
What does the helium have to do with it then? In any case, go ahead and answer that question.
Well, I know one of the I don't know if it's confirmed or whatnot, but I know there's always been speculation that helium is involved in the spin up sequence. I am not sure what they'll do with the COPVs under the chines. I don't know if Booster 7 was designed considering starting it up with the QD. I don't think. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not sure. I'd err saying it wasn't, but who knows? It's definitely a change we have to look out for.
I'm curious
Yeah,
about what you just said too, because I hadn't heard that there was helium in the spin-up part, spin primes. I didn't think that they would be using helium because it's so expensive,
I have
and they've got the
no.
nitrogen.
To be completely honest, I have no clue how Raptors start up. Even the vague stuff that people know, I have no clue about it. I just know that that's been something I've heard from people speculating. At least I don't know. Zach can speak to that better than I can.
how
But
do I want to skip over parts of this? I think what I'll say is that I think that the booster QD, like whatever changes that they did to it, or as far as using it to start up engines and then therefore reducing the amount of COPVs, I feel like that probably already happened. So, but that's kind of as far as I want to go into it today. I will have a deeper explanation for that next week. But yeah, I don't. That's a tough one to answer without having like background images to go with it. So
yeah, for sure.
I got one for you. That's a good one. Not that that wasn't a good one. That was a great one. Jack Durlsey asks, at what point do you think they'll start moving the rings from the 310s into the new Star Factory? Also, why don't they make the Star Factory taller to build taller ring segments? Thanks.
yeah, let's look at the Star Factory. Actually, did we skip over it?
We actually
We
haven't
did.
gotten to it yet, so we didn't quite skip over it. We just hadn't gotten there yet.
Usually I like to show a full shot of it, but I don't have that ready right now, so I will grab one. But so the two-part question. The first thing was related to the rings moving in here. I don't think we've actually seen rings move in there yet, but we have seen ring stands or the workstations move in there, right?
Yeah, tooling for them, things like that.
Yeah, I believe as recent as like 2 days ago, right? They started taking even more stuff out of Tent 1.
Yeah, they're definitely making an effort to move everything over. And I think you can see on the right side of this photo, they started moving in those 2-level work platforms.
Oh yeah, yeah. So there's only 3 of them left now. There was 5, and there were I think there was 5 jib cranes down here. Now there's 1. And I believe we have a good ground image showing
Me too.
the actual platform as it was installed. So let me go ahead and swap us over to that ground image. Sorry for starting so much, y'all. It's kind of difficult scrolling through all these different slideshows at the same time, so thank you for bearing with me. Let's see. I got this frontal image right here. We can actually see... Oh. This is probably better. Nope. Right here. There we go. So this is the first view that we've gotten of one of those platforms actually installed, and I don't really know what to think about it. It's kind of randomly placed.
It is. And I think in one of the other photos you can see a jib crane, or not a jib crane, a gantry crane inside of the Star Factory.
This one?
No, like I think it was a proper, like an actual gantry. It was in maybe a couple photos before this one.
Like through the middle walls?
Yeah.
Way. Oh, why is that in there?
Yeah.
That's one of the ones from Tent 1. Or wait. Tent 2. So this is a 5-ton gantry crane. Okay, so yeah, that's interesting. So the you have the bridge crane, which goes over and back and forth up and down the hallway, and then this could go. Well, in the other buildings, these had rails on the floor, and so they could slide across the floor. There's really no way for us to know whether or not these have rails on it, but I would imagine that it doesn't just sit there in that one spot. They can actually move it in and out. What is this?
I'm not sure.
Not going to be able to see it from that angle. Let's try that one. Nope.
Oh,
But
that's one of the little
jib cranes.
Jib
Yeah,
cranes,
pedestal cranes, yeah. We can see at least one of those cranes, but as you all know, the doors are closed up on this. Or not closed up, but the walls are pretty much complete, so it's really hard to see anything. And these doors are not really going to be open too often, especially once they actually finish with the work in here. So yeah, the days are numbered.
So GB, did you do that one that's third from the left on your below piece?
This one?
The one just to the right of that. Nope. I can give you a number if that helps.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's 1684.
Boy.
Yeah.
That actually this would be 1684.
Yeah, that's the one I was hoping you'd get to. There it is. The stand.
Yeah, I had it from that other view, but this one is a little bit darker, but this one you can actually see further into the tent, and I think no, I was going to say the second one is also over here, but I don't see it. It's probably in one of the other aisles. So, yeah. With that, let's return back to that aerial view.
Oh, I got it. 1691. Sorry.
Oh, 1691.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the one I showed. Were you missing here? Did you missed it?
That's the one. That's the other good one. Sorry, that's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so this is the one good view that you can see it, and we can't see the other. Wait, what is that? Is that a? Okay, sorry, that's the mechanical lines. I thought that was like a bridge crane down from the ceiling, but it is not. So sorry for that distraction. From the aerial view, as I was saying, there's a ton of stuff that is being stored up out of here. Sorry, I guess it won't switch. Well, that's new. Give me 1 second. Okay. That makes sense. So, from the aerial view, you can see that there's a ton of stuff still waiting out here. That's all probably going inside of that building. So yeah, I feel like they're getting really close to it being actually operational, but that is still a ton of material that has to go in there. And, ooh, interesting. So they're clearing out this area to the backside of it, which I didn't notice before. Kind of expecting like a parking lot outside of here at some point, so that'll be good to see. And after all of this isn't the best view at all. I gotta get a long distance view. Sorry about that. So once all of this stuff is finished being moved into the tents, we will actually see them start to deconstruct these tents. So most likely these two will be the first to go. It's really a toss-up because it seems like they've taken stuff out of both of them already. So I imagine there's not much left to go other than the actual ring sections themselves. So yeah, we'll definitely be on the lookout for that. But I just realized we haven't really covered anything related to these payload sections. It looks like there hasn't really. Oops, wrong image. There hasn't been any real progress over here with these two payload sections. Oh wait,
Yeah, you
we
can
got the
see
huge
you can see
down
the
cover.
downcomers now. What I don't know. We're kind of confused right now because the one on the left, the one that we're thinking might be reassigned to ship 26, it kind of drove away from the low bay this morning, and it's like almost in the dome yard.
Is it still moving?
No, it's not. It's just parked in. You know that road that goes from the where low bay is now to the dome yard? Like there, it's just parked in the middle of there. It is
Wait,
the most random and weird
here?
thing. No,
Or up
just to the left of low bay.
over here?
It's just parked there.
Interesting. Well,
I,
there is a ton of stuff over here. Maybe they have to. I mean, it's been a while since they moved stuff through. I mean, I guess it's not that bad actually. Now that I'm looking at it, it's an even better view. Yeah, it's not really that difficult to get it out of there. So interesting.
And yeah, on the one with pins that we talked about last week, possibly being reassigned or not working on, they do appear to still be very slowly working on it, which does kind of lead us to the assumption that rather than being abandoned, what if it's reassigned to a later ship that would have tiles?
Interesting. But didn't they? Okay, sorry, they never put the tiles in the first place, right? They didn't rip them off.
No, they did the pins, then never tiled it.
Interesting. It's a lot to keep up with. I was hoping that we were going to see them actually put this together.
Yeah, that progress on that was kind of sad, honestly. They have done nothing.
I agree with you there. Well, I don't think there's anything else that we haven't really touched in this area.
Yeah, I think we're good to move on.
Cool. Yeah, let's hop over to the BFC shed area. Well, I guess we shouldn't really call it that anymore. But yeah, I kind of consider this just everything north of the ground fabrication building. I call it all the village. So usually nothing happening over here, but we'll go ahead and check anyways. And for the record, I actually haven't had a chance to look at these ahead of time. This is one of the first times where I didn't, well, probably the second time I didn't get to actually look through all these images before. So I'm not really sure if there is anything that has updated over here, but we are about to find out. What? Okay, so hold on. So Grover was here and then he went to the high bay the next day?
I guess so, yeah.
That must have been what happened. Okay. That's really confusing. So yeah, he still had that on. I guess he went to do that lift the next day. And as you guys can see, it looks like they are still clearing out this area right here, which we think will be for the additional structure that they're going to attach onto it. What is the deal with this? Why does it have all these weird cuts in it? It's like a doghouse.
Yeah, it's
Can't
kind of
even
weird.
tell if those are real holes or not, or if they're just like paint.
It's a lot of Sharpie.
Yeah. So one thing we have noticed is they've closed in the mechanical side. So let's see if I got not really a backside view, but we can see it pretty well right here. You can see that they've got this fence around this, and it's pretty much closed in. Then they're building another concrete pad over there. I wonder if that is where that other facility will be. Let's look at that one. Nah, it's just adding concrete so that they can basically extend this out. So what I don't understand is how the trucks get in here with the Starlinks. Like, do they have to drive? They have to move the thing out, right? And then they drive in here, unload, and then leave.
Yeah. Actually, I think the one time the box had to pull out, the truck went in, then the actual cab of the truck it drove away without the trailer. The box went back in, then it picked up the trailer a couple days later.
Oh wow, quite the process.
Yeah.
So one thing that I noticed this week was that I didn't notice this. Somebody actually pointed this out to me, that they moved there was a tanker right here. So, okay, sorry. These two, those look like grills. That's weird. So there's a big tanker that's always over there, and they moved it out of the way. They might be clearing this for something else right now. So we're going to be keeping our eyes on that in the future. But other than that, there's literally nothing happening over here. We got more conduit and drainage work. Interesting. Drainage over conduit. Okay. That's new. But yeah, we just making sure that I'm not missing anything over here, because like I said, I have not gone through these yet. We got some MK1 flaps still sitting on the roof, and everything else is basically the same. Let's make our way to the launch site.
Well, actually, hey Zach, I don't know if you might have missed one particular building that's being built on the back side of the build site. I mean the village there. I guess you're gonna have to go to a different image to see. Maybe, yeah, that one right there. It's gonna be on the bottom left-hand corner. And they're actually making a new road. Yes, they're actually making a new road. As you can see, that's gonna run all the way to the other side. At least it should.
Is it gonna come out here?
That's what it seems like.
Oh wait, they can just extend this one down,
right,
and come all the way out behind it. Interesting.
But
we rarely show this view, guys. So hopefully you are appreciating this, because we don't like to show the houses. So, but sorry, what were you gonna say?
Yes. So the reason we're focusing on this particular, or the reason I brought this up, is because that doesn't look like the groundwork for a home, in my opinion. It looks like it's going to be some type of building, and I actually got some images of those, I guess, beams. They're not really beams, they're just some type of stainless steel, I think horizontal structures.
These?
It's for the building that's going to go there, it seems.
It almost looks like side paneling, which would be weird for the side paneling to show up first. Yeah, and so we do know that this building right here is also about to be renovated soon. I think first they have to remove the trees out of it, and then I believe they're going to be extending this. And according to Spoilsport, it is supposed to be offices that are going to be built here. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Was there anything else over here, Mauricio?
That's about it. I guess we can move on from here.
Alrighty then. So we are going to go over to the suborbital pad where the scene of the crime happened. Well, I won't call it a crime. But the static fire of Ship 20 went pretty well, other than the subsequent fire that happened. You know, if you guys were if any of you in the audience have been to our show and tells that we do the day that Mauricio actually does a flyover, then you may have heard me mention that this area was probably going to catch on fire. But unfortunately, I thought I said it during the stream, but I didn't. So it was during that show and tell. But I don't know. I hate to say this. In my opinion, this was obviously going to catch on fire. Like, that is just a massive amount of fire coming out of the side of the suborbital stand. So, you know, there's supposed to be a berm that extends right through here, I believe. Like this? Oh, wait, no. It's supposed to curve around like this, I believe. But that's not there. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, this is where that fire started partially, and somehow, sorry about that, it also started over here, like right around the edge, and then they met together and just continued all the way basically to the build site.
Hey Zach, why don't you show the dumpster that's on the top right?
Yeah, for sure.
And we also have a ground image of, it's going to be the one at the left.
This one?
That one right there.
Yeah, so this is actually, I think I may need to show this video one more time in order to fully understand this. So let me swap over to that. After the static fire. Oh, by the way, we were talking about the berm. Watch this. Watch the way this shoots over the berm. I love that. Anyways, after the static fire, you can see this black smoke in the background. Back here. It's probably clearest right here. That is coming from a garbage bin, which is what we were just showing. And Mauricio, knowing that this was the garbage bin that caught fire, went out there just to get a ground image of it, which we also have for you guys as well. But it's going to take me a second to find that one. Actually, go ahead.
Yeah, I just dropped it here in the studio VC.
I got her. So you guys can see that this thing used to be completely blue, but now it's not. Yeah, this definitely got roasted. I mean, looking at it from that aerial view, I feel like there wasn't really even that much in the actual in the dumpster. I mean, there's a good amount, but dang, I mean, that thing had to, like, if it was topped off like this one, I would expect this one to burn for sure. It's actually probably a miracle that one didn't. So, this one, not as surprising. But yeah, you can see that it initially was completely blue and now it is black. So yeah, that's definitely the one that burned, which is, I mean, I feel like they didn't need any of this stuff, but obviously you don't want to eliminate material that way. Probably landfills are better, but yeah, the actual, and we can't really see it from this view because this is the day before, so we can actually see what the ground kind of looked like around here before that static fire. And from the ground, we can look at what the suborbital pad looks like after that static fire. So let me go ahead and look at the bottom of it. Nice. Wow. What do you think?
It got hot. That's to put it lightly. Look at that.
Wow, this is like the paint like melting down to the.
Yeah, that was an intense fire, or a static fire. You got to clarify.
Well, both of them were pretty intense, I would say. Yeah, looking at it from this side. So apparently, this is what the paint is designed to do. I don't know. I guess I'd kind of expect there to be like a higher temperature, like rated paint that doesn't need to be reapplied. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't exist. But yeah, you can definitely tell how intense that fire was. I mean, wow. This to me looks like if you walked on this, it would probably look like if you all know what like pea gravel is. Holy crap. Okay. So it was water going into the it was gravel going into the water. You can see all these little tiny pieces of gravel here that most likely came from this. So this is completely okay. All right, here's what's actually happening. So the concrete directly underneath the test stand is the high temperature blast resistant concrete, but I don't think the concrete going outside of the test stand is. So this is like just normal concrete, and that is probably why. I mean, you can see this thing has been desurfaced significantly. That is insane.
And that blast-free concrete you're referencing is the Martite?
Yes, I believe so. Well, okay, so they on suborbital stand A, I believe they had regular concrete, and then they put that layer of Martite on top of it, if I'm not mistaken.
You are not mistaken. You're
Feel
right.
like this is a completely different blend, but there's no way for me to know that. I'm kind of guessing on there, but I feel like this is a different than how they did the suborbital A. But man, they probably should have extended it down further. And truthfully, this is probably why the tiles got affected like that. I mean, you can just see that it went all the way around like that. And look at the back of this hill. You can see all of the gravel from the underneath the test stand that just got blown onto the hill. Because this is fresh dirt. It shouldn't really have any gravel like that in there. Whoa.
Yeah, I want to see that view.
Now. I've never seen that one before. Look how well it survived. It doesn't even look like a... There's wires up there? Crazy. That's interesting. Let's see if we have some more views of this. All right, we have another angle. Lovely. Lots to see here. Let's start from the left and then work our way to the right. We can see that, well, I believe there was vegetation here, possibly. But, wow. Okay, so the water deluge came over the edge, that's for sure. But, yeah, actually, it looked like the water deluge probably saved a lot of this area. I mean, because this stuff right here could have burned as well, but it didn't. So I would have to assume that's a result of the water deluge going actually over here. And you can even see the path that the water was moving off of the pad. But yeah, this is pretty amazing because with the water flowing off the pad right here, all of these rocks that came off of the concrete went straight with it, and they're just all gathered down here. Yo, I should legit apply for CSI. This is like, man, that's insane. I love this. So let me see. Maybe we have better views that show some of the surrounding grass. Horatio, do we have any more views of the grass?
Oh yeah, we got some of that. You're gonna see a far distance, 3 to your right. That one. Actually, there's another one to the 2 more to the right.
Well, we can see a little bit of it right here. Is this?
Yeah, that's.
Oh gosh. Dang, yo, those cactuses still survived.
And that's what I was telling you.
Resiliency.
When I was out there, it didn't seem like the whole thing was burned, like in the satellite images. The satellite images just everything looked burned off from S24 all the way to where it meets at the build site. But from what I saw, it looked like this.
I think my new spirit animal is a cactus. Surviving fires like that. Might be the only person with a spirit animal that's a plant. But wow, here we go. Right around that.
Yeah, yeah. It really just went around it.
I suppose it's not as bad as I thought it was. Like, this is probably all from the wind. Like, the wind was blowing this way, and then it came back this direction. Because I feel like we saw it shift directions multiple times. Ooh, one more view. Nice.
I was wondering if the...
Look at that. Look at all that gravel.
Oh. I had been wondering if... I brought it up last night, if the upwards facing cameras on the sporbital stand legs are still there. And you know what? They might be, actually.
Wasn't it mounted here?
Yeah, that's just a hanging wire, so I'm going to give you a yes on that one.
Yeah, because there's. Oh my god! You can see the wire coming down.
Okay, camera's gone. Never mind.
Where was the other one right here?
Maybe I think there was one on the left as well by the old. It looks like there's one facing upwards right there. If you move your cursor up, is that a camera? No, that's not a camera. Never mind.
No.
Yeah, I think
I felt like there was one there.
They're gone.
I need some before and afters of that. I hope I can find one from the same view just so we can show it later. That is hilarious. On this note, I just reminded myself we're about an hour since the last time I did this. So if you guys have not hit that like button yet, please do us a favor and do so. Hopefully you guys are appreciating these exclusive images of the damage to the suborbital pad. And yes, I think we can call it damage because it's probably going to have to get repaved. I don't think anybody else is out here walking in the dirt like Mauricio is. And so hopefully you guys all appreciate that. And also thanks to everybody who donated. Because again, hopefully, Mauricio typically goes straight from the flyover to napping for a little bit until the next morning and going out and then keep grabbing us all these images. So hopefully you guys appreciate the hard work that goes into that. And like I said, we appreciate all your donations. That helps this us to keep doing all of this. So, yeah.
Oh.
Man,
I'm looking at an old photo right now of the suborbital stand.
Uh-huh.
Every single camera is gone.
That's going to be a fun Twitter post later. So we'll have to do a before and after comparison of this pad. Yeah, that'll be fun. So be on the lookout for that, guys. With that, let's move over to... Oh, snap. We got to get into the air because this is, like I said, one of the more epic flyovers I've seen. Not to say they all aren't, but I do love me some Stage Zero. And we have Stage Zero on go mode right now. You guys can see, and I'm actually gonna start this from here, and we're gonna cycle through these because I rarely do this. Actually, show you guys every single picture, but we're gonna do that right now. So right here, you can see that. So the both the liquid oxygen and the liquid methane side of the tank farm. I take that back. Just the liquid oxygen side of the tank farm is active right now. It looks like the methane side is actually venting from over here, which I was hoping that we would actually be able to see where it comes from. If you guys ever look at Rover 2 cam during tests, you'll always see venting coming from this area. So as we go through these pictures, like I said, I haven't seen them yet. Hopefully we'll be able to tell where it comes from. But you can see here that I guess they start chilling liquid oxygen much earlier than the methane, because you can already see that these are completely frosted over, whereas the methane side, they're still kind of warm on the top. So continuing on, look at this.
Oh wow. Wow.
Moving on. So it looks awfully blue. That looks like...
Yeah.
Yeah, is blue like LOX?
I guess, yeah, LOX does have a blue tinge to it.
Well, okay, let's take a step back because if there was water down here before this, which we don't know, if there was water down here, and even if there's groundwater, it's going to freeze and turn into ice, which we've seen before. So this could just be ice under here. We have no idea what's actually there, so don't jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
With that being said, look at this view of the... Oh my gosh. That is amazing. All right, let's keep going. We got more. So as like I said, as Mauricio was doing this, as he was doing this flyover, he was waiting for a static fire, which didn't happen, so he didn't miss anything. But the tank farm was going through its phases of Wow. Like I said, I was really hoping we were going to figure out where the source of this is coming from, but you can't. You can't see it. It's somewhere in here. Jesus, this is amazing. The whole tank farm is like Cloud9. Let's see. What else do we got? I think our methane subcoolers will start to spin up here soon. I wish we could do... There they go. So you can see the methane subcoolers finally turned on. So this is basically the start of methane loading right here, essentially. And you can see them kind of cranking up from this view. Oh my God, I love... This is interesting. It's interesting the way that the flow from these drops to the ground, but the flow from these kind of carries in the air. Huh. Okay, well, so these actually have little flaps on them, and so it actually is directing it towards the ground, whereas these, it's a valve that points straight out, so it's shooting straight out, so that probably explains that. And right here, we can almost see where that venting was coming from, but I don't know, I guess it's got to be like right here, somewhere?
Yeah, something like that.
You see the frost quickly building up on the methane subcoolers. I feel like I'm commentating a football game or something right now.
Well, it is really cool because you're seeing everything start up in these photos.
Yeah, exactly. This is super... This is just about as rare as it gets right here, I would say. So let's see. I'm going to keep moving through here. And we're going to have to cycle through these again, but through the launch mount view, because there's... Once the... oh, there it is. So this right here is the Raptor chill venting. So literally the moment they start loading methane, this Raptor chill venting will start.
Oh, you can see the frost line on the LOX tank.
Ooh. We got a frost line building. Let's see how far it gets. Keep moving through these. I feel like the flow from the subcoolers are getting even greater as we go. At least on the methane side. Sorry about that. How dare you take a blurry image? So I'm just going to keep cycling through these. And we're back at the beginning, I think. So let's do the same thing from the launch mount side, just so we can kind of see how that Raptor chill develops. Oh, man. So right now, oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
This is insane. You rarely get to see this. This is what it looks like when the launch mount is purging.
I want that, but I want the tower and OLM going at the same time when they're doing a fully stacked vehicle.
Yeah, we got to redo this when there's a full stack test, but maybe they'll... Never mind, I'm not going to wish bad thoughts on us. So you guys can see down here the new shielding. I think we talked about that last week, but just so you can actually see the new shielding that they brought down there. This looks like right before they actually start loading propellants into the tank. So they usually prime up all of these lines until the fluid is all the way up here, and then that's when it shuts off. So like actually this picture right here is probably... one second. This is probably the heaviest the flow is ever going to get, because the liquid oxygen is probably all the way up to here. And so once it actually starts receiving liquid, which is probably what's happening right now, it shuts off and actually closes that vent. But they can't just slam the vent shut. So they it slowly like tapers down until it's non-existent anymore. And then they open up the valves that go into the booster, and then they start filling the booster. While that's happening, you don't see any venting coming out of the launch mount. Actually, I don't think it's happening right here. Man, this is awesome. Sorry for cycling through these. I'm just waiting until we get to a spot where it is active again. All right, there's methane loading right there. and liquid oxygen loading at the same time. And I don't think we have a frost line yet. Nope. You can see the cryotubes down here are frozen.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's awesome. See if we can see the actual frost line on the booster start to pick up. Look at that.
That's insane.
Yeah, this is. Let me check. So there's two different versions of Raptor Chill, in my opinion. One of them happens during tank loading, and the other one happens in between tank loading and the actual event. And I think this is the one that happens during tank loading. And you could tell, well, without being able to see what this looks like with only 3 engines or 4, or whatever they try to do, you can't really get a real appreciation for the difference in flow. But essentially, everything that we saw coming from under the launch mount last time when they did a full 33 engine spin prime, like everything that was coming from under the launch mount in a little spiral, like that's what this is, which is amazing to see. Wow. Like I said, I hope you guys appreciate being able to see this view of things. It looks like, I was going to say, it looks like prop loading has ended, but I don't think so. And I'm going to anticipate some of the things that people are going to say here. Is this thing doing its job if the flow is going straight over the side? I would say yes, because as you can see, it's wet all the way down to here. So even though it appears that it's flowing straight over, any actual liquid flow is going down into the rocks right here, and then it like drains down there. So hold your horses if you're thinking that they're just dumping it over the side. But yeah, let's see. Oh, we got tank loading right there.
Oh yeah.
Mauricio got within 5 minutes. Wow. Now that's a bath.
Whoa.
Bubble bath, anyone? This is okay. So now that is the tank farm stopped yet? Not quite. That is weird the way that changed. Okay, so I think what's happening here is in the previous image, you're transferring, like the engines are getting colder and colder, and you're transferring from, just like the launch mount, from like gas flowing out to actual liquid. And so in between those two pictures, it actually started receiving liquid flow into the bathtub. And yeah, you could see that it's actually is contained within there. I love this. I feel like SpaceX should ask Mauricio to do flyovers every time there's going to be a static fire. He should be the first one who knows, because this aerial view is really important for scientific purposes, and just in case something happens, we got some evidence. Not for us, for them. We'll hand over the tapes, I guess, after we review it. But yeah, I feel like it's would be nice to be up here when there's an actual static fire happening, just to actually see it from the air.
I'd love to see the way the plume hits the ground and spreads out. That's what I really want to see during a fire.
I agree. And drones can capture that kind of, but they're not 10,000 feet up in the air. So there's advantages to being at 10.5. We can help. Yeah. Do we have any questions on this? I kind of cycled through these. I feel like I might be back at the beginning here. Oh no, I'm not. It's still going, because you can see the fluid level rising. Look at that. Like you can even see the edges of it. Like,
yeah, it's just completely filled. That's insane.
It's like a Halloween. Wow. I wonder if we get cut off of. Oh, yeah, there it is.
That's a lot of vent.
Yeah. So this is the next stage of fluid or proppant loading. So you can see that your liquid oxygen side of the tank farm is really, really going right now. Just barely you see it. And the level is actually risen, but it's probably higher than this just because, it takes a while for the ice to actually catch up with the fluid level. So in the next image, the liquid oxygen side of the tank farm shuts off. You can kind of see it, that it's shut off down here. And from this angle, you can definitely see that it's shut off, kind of petering out a little bit. So is the methane side. The fluid level is still rising, but the launch mount just starts dumping after that. And the reason I think that this happens is because you probably are purging out, number one, probably purging out the flex hoses in the booster QD. So you're just like opening it and letting it drain out. Number two, I don't think they could do it this way, but possibly they're actually pushing out the remaining fluid in the pipe just so that they don't have to worry about for backflow for some reason. But I truly think that this is all just draining what's in those hoses, because there is I don't know, I think it's like 700 to 1 or 1 to 700 expansion ratio. So what you're seeing right here, if you divided that by 700, would be what was in that pipe. So it maybe not actually be that much. And I think it probably is just those hoses draining out. But yeah, this is really, really awesome to get to see. I've been waiting for this for a long time. I almost quit my job when I saw that Mauricio was taking off in the middle of a test for no reason. I didn't have a reason to quit my job, but I almost did it. What's crazy is how dry it is down here.
Yeah.
All that venting, and it's dry.
You were about to quit your job when I left the site?
If they would have done a static fire in the middle of your flyover, I would have quit my job.
See, that's the thing. So if you look at it from my perspective, what happens if I'm just circling? I don't have that good cell service, so what if I'm just waiting for hours at a time until we run out of fuel?
Well,
and
what we do is we got somebody on the ground with a mirror to throw up signals at you and let you know when the siren goes off. Or you gotta do the tip your wings side to side for confirmation before you leave, and then we wave our arms like, no, don't do it.
Well, I can do that. I can do that all day. But my concern is when I get back to the airport and there's no static fire, I'm gonna be stuck with the bill. I'm gonna be broke for quite a while.
Well,
and
I feel like we have some great people in the chat who would probably help you out if that happened. If it means getting a static fire on camera, I think we can all appreciate that and donate towards it if need be,
Yeah, it's I just wasn't sure when I was up there at what point it was going to happen. Jax was probably one of the few people that was keeping me updated on what was going on. I think it was him. If not, it was just on Discord people that were.
There were a lot of people in here.
Yeah. But it definitely looked cool. I should have, it's hard to record from the airplane, but it would have been nice to see all this, taking place, but through video from the air. But yeah, it definitely looked
for
cool.
Sure. If you could film the whole thing from the air, that would be amazing. That would almost be worth sacrificing. I think this is back at the beginning. I think that would almost be worth sacrificing the images just to have the video of it.
Yeah, I prefer images, to be honest, but I don't know. It's I prefer to take images than video, just because the video, it needs to be stabilized every single time. I've done it before. It's really hard to keep it the 200 millimeter, or actually the 600 millimeter, zoomed in all the way, and then having to stabilize it, and and afterwards it's a hassle to get that going. But with images, you can zoom in all the way like you're doing right now, and
I can't complain about that one for sure. Being able to zoom in is the most key thing, because then if you're the one, if not, then you're having to zoom in with the camera itself, and then you're just relying on yourself to capture the perfect detail. But yeah, images are like 1,000 videos almost. Actually, I think it's the other way around, but they're more valuable than 1,000 videos, I would say. Although, go ahead.
An image is worth 1,000 words.
Yes, I kind of just tried to make up my own phrase right there, but it didn't really go that well. And sorry, I'm just sitting here trying to count how many of these pumps were actually running. Wait, what? Is that hole open? No way. There's no way it's open. I think it's open.
What would they normally do? Just put a plate over it?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I guess that's what we're doing.
I know. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I know one of the questions many people have had was right after the spin prime, there was a vent just beside the booster QD. I posted a photo in live comms of the booster QD. A lot of people were worried that it was.
Normally do just put a plate over it. Yeah.
Just had a bit of reverb there.
So you're talking about this right here, this picture? Oops,
yeah,
sorry, I got switched over to the view.
Yeah, there's a ground photo of the OLM, and if you zoom in just to the left side of that smaller chine, you can see a little valve a little vent sticking up. So
let me go here. I'm gonna use.
Yeah,
this one.
Yeah, do whatever you need.
Let's see.
Oh, that's a much better picture than I pulled up.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, they're just to the left of the chine, I think. You'll see a little vent sticking up right there, and that's
this.
That right there. It was venting out of that, and a lot of people were worried it was a leak.
Wait, but the leak what we were seeing was on the opposite side, wasn't it?
I was only sent photos of that venting, but maybe, I don't know.
Why is that going through the chine? It's closed.
Is it?
It's closed.
Oh, I was just messaged. I know I was sent that saying that might have been
Well, they could have closed it the next day. There's no way to know whether or not it was open.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but
that looks like so the chines are open, or sorry, the
yeah, stringers.
The stringers are open on the bottom too, so it looks like they're I don't know, possibly pressure testing. Like if you were pressure testing all the system down below, like whatever's feeding into the new pipework system, that could be a way of getting it down. Oh, that's a stupid way of getting it down there. Actually, you could just put it on the outside of it. I mean, this way it's secured. You don't need to like strap anything to the booster. I don't know. That's a weird one.
To be completely honest, I didn't watch all of testing yesterday, so I'm kind of putting pieces together without knowing everything.
Let's look at the other side of the booster, because I am not 100% convinced on this one. Let's see if we got, and I know we do. Oh, that's too far. Just wanted to get another view of that QD, but maybe this is it. No, too far in the other direction. We're losing today, guys.
I think there is another one of those little upwards facing thingies, though.
On the other side?
Right here, yeah. Going through one of the stringers.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is interesting. That one's also closed. And is that the only other one that we've seen?
That's what I know of, but like I said, I didn't watch the entirety of testing yesterday, so don't quote me.
So, this makes more sense than the other one as far as this being the source of that venting. That would make more sense than it coming all the way around the other side from the other one. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that test so I can see if it actually truly is coming from there. But that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is because when we were looking at it, it was between the chine and the HPU. No matter how we looked at it, it was always in between, and that's the only thing in between. And there's even a shot from the front where we see it, but we couldn't see that black head. It just looked like venting
Oh man,
coming up.
I think I know. I might know what it is. Does it make sense for them when they purge out the engine shroud? I've always been wondering, like, well, never mind. They don't have the covers on it, so
Yeah.
it shouldn't be necessary. Do they have maybe they have the covers on the center 3?
Mm,
I was
Yeah,
always wondering, like, how that like if you have to purge underneath or in between the engines. Sorry, like in between the bottom of the engines and the actual thrust dome, that interspace area. Like, if you're purging that, how does it come out if you have all of the outer protectors on the Raptors? Yeah, I don't have I should have a picture to go along with this, but I don't. Sorry, everybody. We're kind of just brainstorming right here because I didn't know about this at all. We can kind of continue on. I don't want to sit on that topic for too long. But for those of you who missed it in the beginning, we did talk about this new pipe that's been installed on the launch mount and the huge flex hose that goes around. Will most likely go all the way around the side. We've seen them doing a lot of welding in here. It's hard to actually tell where they're welding. I mean, we do have even this. Doesn't look like it's even attached to anything back there. Like, it's just a bracket. But pretty much all night long, you can see them doing grinding and welding down here. And it's kind of tough to tell where it's coming from. But yeah, this is the water pipe, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show. And most likely going to be additional either, I don't know, water deluge, if you want to call it that, or fire suppression. But yeah, it's funny to me the way they have these hung up here. Like, somebody told me that they don't believe these are actually custom fit for those, so that they're just kind of guessing on the size, which I find that hard to believe. But then again, it's probably difficult to just out of nowhere get custom sized flex hoses like this. So, we'll have to look into that a little more. I'm going to have to go back and review some of that footage of this. But yeah, we should see basically an updated launch mount performance next time there is a static fire. We'll probably have some waterworks involved, hopefully. Or this could just be for protecting the actual booster in the event of a fire like they had last time. But we will have to wait and see on that one. And with about 10 minutes left in the show, I want to take some time to make sure that we answer any remaining questions. And also, Jax or Mauricio or Indy, was there anything in here that you guys wanted to touch on that I may have skipped?
No, I'm happy with what we covered.
Cool. Indy, did we have any? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we wanted to shout out a bunch of generous donors. First donation came in from 5Max, who donated €2 and says, "You make important work for the community." Then Starkover was kind enough to donate $10, and he says, "Horizontal test stand eliminates dealing with blast plume." And then Rocket Profit donated $50 for static fire flyover. JK Video matched him with another $50. And then we just got one from Joffrey Drissich. Excuse me if I butchered your name. He says another great stream, and it was €50. And then we have a new member who just joined us, and that's Cosmic Mio. So we wanted to thank you all for your donations and welcome Cosmic Mio to the team.
Yeah,
And
definitely. You guys are super awesome supporting us every single week, and we appreciate all of the donations, especially those of you who are extremely regular donators. We definitely appreciate you for pretty much donating every single show. You guys are amazing, and it definitely means a lot that you guys are willing to support the show. So I'll let Indy continue on with that, where she was going. Sorry.
No, not at all. So Jack Dursley has a question, and he says, any signs of tower paneling for when the tower will be cladded once everything is has been fitted in correctly?
I do not think so. I was looking from the aerial view. I'd look every single week, and I haven't seen any tower cladding. So yeah, I'll say for now that we haven't really seen anything. But I almost forgot to cover this view, which was the can crusher lid moving down the road. Gives you an idea how massive that thing is. Yeah. Sorry, Andy. I keep interrupting you because I get distracted with these questions.
Not at all.
But yeah, no tower cladding.
Question. Yeah, got it. Wayne Metcalf has a question and asks, do you think we'll see a dedicated Raptor building?
What do you think, Jax?
I think that would be nice because the Raptors do take a fair bit of room inside of at least the tent that they have, because they usually keep them inside of tent 1. I don't know if they will, but I'm sure it'd be a nice quality of life type thing.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to, if you're going to test them there, to also be able to do maintenance, because being able to test them and then having to still send them all the way back to McGregor for maintenance wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense. And I want to quickly touch on something that I know Jax wants to point out here.
Yeah, well, we noticed that in these photos, the ship lifting pins on the chopsticks have been deployed, and as many people have seen now, the crane is attached to ship 24. So,
Didn't know that.
I'm not suggesting anything, but
I am.
I don't know. I think there's definitely a possibility we might be seeing another full stack again soon.
I'm willing to tweet it out at the end of the show. Yeah, that'll be really awesome to see. I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen a full stack. I think it'd be really cool, although it won't happen now, to see like the full stack operations. So starting from the booster and then the Starship after. But I don't think they can do that. Like, it would probably take, I don't know, half the day, because they would have to clear the site for the booster, and then they have to come back after, move the transport stand, move the Starship over, and then repeat. So it'll probably be a while till we actually see like a full stack operation happen all in one day. But yeah, hopefully one day soon.
So we have a whole bunch of donations coming in this last few minutes of the show. We have a $10 donation from 55 Chevy Guy Steve, and he says, great job. We have another $10 donation from Peanut, who says, great picks this week, Mauricio. And then we have another $10 donation from Yozada, says, extraordinarily good episode. So well done, gents.
Well, thank you all. We appreciate your feedback. It really means a lot, especially given how much energy it takes to do these shows on Saturdays after a full week of work. So we definitely appreciate all of your guys' feedback and donations. It definitely means a lot. I'm sure Mauricio would agree with that as well. I'm not sure if he's still with us. He probably is.
Still here.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything, but if not, I was just going to mention, we always talk about camera views, and if somebody's keeping track of the ones we want, please add this one to the list, because if for some reason they decide to catch the booster the first time they fly it, we need this camera view. That is pretty interesting, actually. I didn't realize this one was here, and it really looks just straight up the rail, which can only be for booster operations.
Yeah.
That's new. That makes sense. Anyways, Andy, did we have any more that we didn't touch on?
There are a few questions. Yep. There's a question from SpockX asking, what is the possibility that they pause in ships with tiles is a reset on attachment processes? So maybe they're asking, what if the fact that they are no longer tiling the ships is so that they can revamp their attachment process for the tiles? What do you think?
It's always something to consider. We haven't seen the thing is that even on the sections without tiles, we haven't seen any efforts to tile them. So if you're saying like in the future, like taking this break in the interim while they redesign their system, yeah, I mean, who knows? It's all speculation at this point.
Always speculation. I'll leave you with this question. TJ Everett asks, as early starships are phased out, will SpaceX just leave them in orbit for use as space stations or satellites? What do you think?
Yeah, not the slightest clue. That's
Any guesses?
not
Burn
even
them. I say they burn them up on re-entry.
explode them.
I shouldn't say anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you can leave them in orbit, then I guess you might as well, because it's better to probably do that than to create, like, trash in the ocean. But I don't know. I have a feeling that they'll probably re-enter them no matter what. There's no sense in having a 15-story building up in space for no reason.
And I know SpaceX is definitely against having junk sitting in orbit.
I got one more for you. Cody G asks, any idea if they'll be able to flip sections in this section of Star Factory? So when we were looking at Star Factory.
No comment.
No comment or comment?
Nope, no comment. We're working on that one for the next episode.
Yeah.
Darn it. I always seem to ask those questions.
Jax is going to no comment as well, too, because he's involved in that one.
No comment.
And we're sorry. I will apologize because we do this to you guys a lot. But I hope I make up for it later because, if not, then I would just feel like I don't even really know of a word that's safe to use right now. But
so I got another question then. Let me finish it on a good one. SpockX asks, did you notice the two new vents on either side of the booster QD during the booster spin test? Any comments?
Okay, so I didn't know that it was on both sides. So that's my first comment. And my second comment is, we talked about those a minute ago. I'm assuming that question came before I talked about it. Yeah. So if we didn't answer the question, I can. Okay. I would suggest rewinding back because I want to go all the way back and find it.
Let me end it on a good one. Sorry. Spoil Sport asks.
Third strike. Just kidding.
I'm out. Please, can you explain your marsh habitat tweet about the fire?
Me? Oh, yeah, yes. Sure.
It's from Spoil Sport.
Oh, okay. So this is ship 24, and basically what I said in that tweet was that they've at least, I mean, we haven't seen them actually develop anything over here yet, other than pulling the dirt out or pulling the essentially plant material out of here and kind of grading it a little bit, at least over here and straight over here. But that is land that they own, and it's land that they're able to build on. Whereas down here, this is considered high marsh land, so it's part of the protected area. And I think I've talked about this on episodes before, but anytime you're in a low-lying area like this, if you fill it in, then you have to subtract somewhere else in order to make sure that the total... hold on, I'll show it from a longer or a bigger view. Let's see. So this entire area, I don't think I can move over anymore, but that shows enough of it. So this entire area is a floodplain, essentially, and it has to be able to hold a certain amount of water. Like, they've calculated out how much water this holds. And if you even do so much as fill in this right here, then you have to also subtract that same amount somewhere else. And you can't just go and do it wherever you want. That's where the Army Corps of Engineers comes in, and that's why a few months ago they actually came out and said that SpaceX hadn't submitted the required documents in order to essentially get permission to do all the stuff they want to do out here. So, like, until they do that, they're basically stuck with the existing area that they've been cleared for, which is the stuff that is currently been actually excavated out. So, yeah, potentially, I guess, if they had have done the Army Corps stuff the same time they were doing the FAA stuff, then that would have allowed them to push all of this out, and they could have prevented that fire from happening. But again, that's not really like anybody's fault. It's just like the way things work out. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that answers the question. And I don't know if we have any more. I think we're at the end of the show, though.
Yeah, we've hit our limit.
Alrighty then. Well, that is all for me today. Thank all of you for being here. My name is Zach Golden with a K, because everybody always spells it with an H. My name is not Zach. All right. Jesus.
It
Yeah,
could
it's
be
spelled
Zachary.
Z-A-K.
This is the thing. The only reason I care, I put it in my signature and everything at work, and everybody still calls me Zach. Anyways, so yeah, I'm out for today. Thank you all for being here, and I'll pass it off to Jax.
Yeah, thanks everybody for having me. This was pretty fun. Yeah, I enjoyed talking with everybody. So yeah,
Everybody, you mean the
Jax,
three of us? Just kidding.
I like how he
Oh.
said, "Oh, and it's been pretty fun."
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, do you want me to end the stream saying, "Yeah, I had a terrible time here today"?
No, actually, I was thinking you'd be like, "Hey, it was great being here. I'm good. I look forward to being here next week, and I hope you guys are excited to see me too. And let me tell you some new mysteries that you had no idea about."
Yeah, you all should be excited to see me back. Anyways, see you all later.
Oh, I guess it's my turn. I just wanted to say thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Come back next week. We got all sorts of new stuff happening. Mauricio, we can end it with you, sir.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us and for the super chats there for the Static Fire Fund. And if you're a member, YouTube member, or Patreon, that also helps out a lot. And one thing I'm going to be doing after this stream on Discord, that mystery or that heat tile quote, right? Whatever that thing is, we're going to, right after the stream, I'm going to make a video where I have a video of me testing out that particular piece with what's it called? Like lighter, a butane lighter, to see how it holds up to the heat. So if you guys want to see that, go ahead and go off to our Discord YouTube member. You have to be a YouTube member or Patreon to have access to it. And let's check it out. And aside from that, Indian Star, you want to do a sign off?
All right, main engine cutoff, stage separation confirmed. Love you, bye.